Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
Better first, it's been a while, right, since we've done this show. So, welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm Angel Rivera. That's alongside Mrs.Witchy Witchy Perfect. So hope everybody's enjoyed their week. Hope everybody enjoyed the show last night, where once again it was me and Witchy, and we discussed a bunch of politics. So today we're going to be here talking about some pro wrestling. So it's been a while, so we have to talk about Elimination Chamber. I don't remember much about it. It's been 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we'll just get through that real quick. Then we'll, I guess, talk about Randy Orton's heel turn on Cody and the brutal beatdown he gave him.
Figured that was going to happen. One of them had to turn heel.
Yeah.
I don't think they were ready for Cody.
Unless they would have done a Hogan Warrior babyface match. But problem is with that, Randy would have.
No.
The fan would have cheered Randy more than Cody. So it's already happening anyways. If you watched SmackDown last night, you saw that fans went nuts for Randy Orton. Gave him a babyface pop, even though he just destroyed Cody Rhodes last week. So I don't know. Booking that match would be, no matter what, the fans are not going to turn on Randy Orton. So unless he keep beating up, unless he does more horrible heelish things. But even then, I don't know whether it's going to work or not. Ultimately.
Yeah, it's going to be like John Cena when they turned John Cena heel. Nobody wanted to boo John Cena, so here we are. No one wants to boo Randy Orton either. So
they're stuck in the same
one,
situation. They're stuck in the same situation they had last year. So difference is it's probably going to be a better match, Randy against Cody, than what it was last year with Cena. So that's the only difference.
That's because Cena goes, "Hey, hit me." Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah, so that happened. We also got to talk about Dennis Condrey, Midnight Express, passing away today at the age of how old he was?
Brother, he was 74.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So rest in peace. He was one half of arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time, especially at least in the Crockett territory.
Yeah, with beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Yeah, and Jim Cornette also. So I'm sure Cornette's going to bring it up on his next podcast. So, because obviously,
of course, everybody knows by now that Chuck Norris also passed away.
Yeah, and he also had that appearance. When was it? Survivor Series '94 when Chuck Norris appeared.
I think so. Yeah. Because
they showed after he died, wrestling fans have put up footage on Twitter about that. I even forgot he made that appearance. That's
and yeah, I mean that was like he kick Jeff Jarrett or something in the face.
Yeah, that's what it was. Jarrett came out to confront him, and he just kicked him in the face, like whatever. I really didn't like
much for
Jarrett
Chuck
anyways.
Norris. The only Chuck Norris movie I actually liked was called Sidekick, and that's the only movie I actually liked. The rest of it was shit to me. Wasn't much for Chuck Norris.
Well, he's legitimate. He's like a 6-time world champion in karate, so he was legitimate, So, let's see. So Dennis Condrey passed away, and I saw a lot of his matches mostly on the network and on Peacock. I'm not sure where the archive is at. Some of it's on Netflix, but not the entire thing when they had it on the network or on Peacock.
Yeah.
So it's like they're getting pretty lazy with uploading the archive to Netflix. There's more archive on the WWE channel, YouTube channel. What was it? I forget what it's called right now. It's their
just the
YouTube channel. The
WWE
Vault.
Vault.
The
Yeah,
Vault.
WWE
Yeah.
Vault.
There's more stuff up there than is on Netflix. So
yeah, I mean they have like WCCW stuff. They have Crockett. I saw some stuff. They on the WCW channel. They have like very early, like '89 kind of stuff that you can check out if you want to. I don't know if he was on there or not, but I mean they do have some stuff. It's just you have to kind of search for it if you're gonna go looking for it.
yeah. Also, Ted DiBiase Jr. was found not guilty.
Found not guilty. Just like
feeling,
I said, honestly, I wasn't trying to play devil's advocate because I don't really care about DiBiase Jr. I wasn't really much for his father, but I do agree that he was ahead of his time and said everybody has a price. In our government, that is true. Everybody has a price. Is that price? So, I thought. My thoughts on Ted DiBiase Sr. was he was very good at playing the $1 Million Man. He was very good at that gimmick. He had that evil laugh, like, ha, 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 ha. Everyone has a price.
Yeah.
I think that, and I wasn't trying to be like, rah Teddy Jr. On my show when you were on it, Angel. I was just trying to the facts of the case are this guy, John Davis, who was divvying out money to these two organizations. Again, they don't care about the poor people or the needy families. That's why they did this. But then somehow they put Teddy Jr. in there, and the biggest advocate or the person who profited more from this was Brett Favre, and he will never be charged. He's not even in the run to be charged, right? So I can't see why Teddy Jr. did this.
I don't think he was ever indicted.
No, he wasn't.
Everybody else was.
And isn't that convenient that Brett Favre, one of the most famous football players in the fucking world, is literally sorry, I didn't mean to swear there, but the one guy who's the biggest celebrity in the world will never be indicted because he's rich and famous. And well, I'm not saying that Teddy Jr. isn't rich and famous. But again, it just seemed a little out of character to throw Teddy Jr. under the bus. And I was trying to basically be the truth teller in all this. And that is Brett DiBiase, who is Teddy's brother, had explicit text message back and forth to this John Davis. So I think they were boinking. Yeah. I think Brett DiBiase was boinking this guy. And hey, if he wants to bet for the other team, go for it. I don't care. But I mean, they had explicit text messages between each other. So, I mean, and Brett DiBiase has already pled guilty to, fraud and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think it's very convenient that the one guy who profited the most, Brett Favre, is not being charged. Not even thinking about indicting him.
No. Let's see. So Ted DiBiase Jr. put out a tweet right after this. So I'm not sure you saw it or not, but it says, quote, which is a Bible quote, by the way. It says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord.'" Romans chapter 12, verse 19. All glory to God. I want to thank Scott Gilbert, Sidney Lampton Morris, and Eric Hirschman for believing the truth and fighting for justice. I guess that's his lawyers. And blah, blah, blah. So this is him. Let's see what he's cutting his grass.
Video of you cut your grass and then all of a sudden he's cutting it off. I don't think this guy is all together there.
God is good. Jesus loves you. And so do I.
Jesus was a male witch. Just saying.
Let freedom ring.
There you go. That's his commentary on after he's found not guilty. So the first thing
I think it was Jesus that actually said, "Turn the other cheek." I'm just saying. Yeah. I think the guy said, "Turn the other cheek," and don't think about revenge.
He just quoted the Old Testament though, so God is a lot more wrathful in the Old Testament.
Yeah, isn't that kind of funny? He says Jesus loves you. Yeah. Well, I think it's wouldn't you quote Jesus and say turn the other cheek and forget about revenge?
Yeah, it's
love people who harm you. Isn't that kind of Jesus's thing? I don't know. I'm just a wicked over here, but. And like I said, I don't think that this was because when I was listening to James Romero, I think is how you say his name, he was talking about how during the trial, Teddy Jr. was trying to get the case dismissed because one of his lawyers was sick. Right? I'm like, I'm sure, Teddy, that's not how that works. Sorry.
No, that's not how that works. Definitely not.
Obviously, the truth prevailed here. I don't know exactly what they had on him. A lot of people were surprised. I wasn't surprised because it just seemed like they were trying to put Teddy under the bus, even though Brett Favre had done it. Other celebrities have done it. And I'm just like, why are they not indicting Brett Favre, No,
that's a good question. Also... So we have to talk about Elimination Chamber because that was what 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
It was so shitty.
So
Danhausen, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
The opening match was the Women's Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley defeated Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and Raquel Rodriguez. So she's going to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. I forgot what pay-per-view was coming, so WrestleMania.
And let's hope that they get her away from this fucking pseudo bullshit lesbian stuff. Stop. Okay? We get it. You love Io Sky. We get that. But enough is enough, girls. It's time for Rhea, the superstar, to actually go after a title again.
Yeah. So she won. Last night on SmackDown, Jade Cargill got a couple of girls, and now she has a stable. Mia Yim and some other girl. I don't know who she is, but
so basically they just fed her the little chickies.
Yeah, and they all beat up Rhea Ripley, and basically Jade Cargill is a stable now. It's going to help her at WrestleMania. So that tells me that Jade is probably retaining at Mania. So this feud is going to continue long term instead of they're going to play keep away from Rhea Ripley with the belt. So maybe I'm wrong, and Rhea would just beat all three of them, but I don't think so. Knowing how Triple H books, I don't think Rhea's going to get this belt at WrestleMania. So let's see here. I don't remember any of that match.
Unless they're done with Jade Cargill. And, this heel run hasn't really lived up to its potential. They really haven't. I mean, how many times has she defended that belt since she turned heel? Like maybe once, twice?
I think zero. I don't think she's had a match since winning that title. Okay. She's basically been backstage acting like a bitch to everybody, pretending that she's great, but hasn't even had a match since winning that. I think she had one match where she beat some girl in 2 minutes. But I don't know whether this WWE kind of treating her like a special attraction and she only wrestles once in a blue moon. But even then, with her reputation, that tells people that that WWE doesn't trust her in the ring. Mm-hmm. So they're putting a belt on her, even though they don't really trust her to have a match. So they have
to go either way. So either they're done with Jade Cargill and they're just going to, push her back down the card or whatever and put the belt on Rhea, or I don't know. Maybe they could have this feud go out, but in the end, I think they're just done with Jade Cargill. She hasn't really done anything. What has she done since she literally turned heel on Tiffy? Unless they give the belt to Rhea and then they just do the feud with her and Tiffy, so that Tiffy can get her revenge.
Maybe, but I don't know. if they're done with Jade Cargill on top, she's gonna end up back in AEW anyway. So because Tony wanted to keep her to begin with, so we'll see what happens there. The next match was AJ Lee defeating Becky Lynch by submission to retain the Intercontinental. Okay, I don't remember much about this match. WWE and everybody on the internet is doing revisionist history on AJ Lee because she wasn't that good in her original run. She was just there, her matches were not good. She was the best in the Divas era, but that's not saying much because she wasn't that good even to begin with. So they're doing a lot of revisionist history, pretending that she's a legend and that she's going to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. They give her a belt, a meaningless belt there,
I think I said to you after she won the belt, it was, where's CM Punk? I would want my husband out there, to celebrate with me that I got this, this woman's belt, though it fucking means nothing. But and then eventually she would come out. She comes out during the CM Punk retaining match. Him and
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, yeah.
Finn Balor, yeah.
But she comes out during his match, but he never came out during her match. I'd be like, no, I want my husband out here. Thank you.
Yeah. So they both, AJ Lee gets his belt and retains the belt. It's obvious that she's getting a push because of CM Punk. I mean, and also they brought her back. She was gone for over 10 years. She hadn't even wrestled really in 10 years.
Right.
So, yeah, it's and they brought her back to a new fan base. When she left, it was a completely different fan base. She still got over somehow to this fan base, but I wouldn't have brought her back. Like, what is she gonna do other than just be CM Punk's wife and wrestle a few mediocre matches every year? So, she's not gonna do much. All right, so talking about CM Punk, the next match, CM Punk retained his World Heavyweight title against Finn Balor. This is probably the best match in the card. I remember this match because there was actual wrestling hold and an actual wrestling match here. So
yeah, I went, oh my god, it's a wrestling hold.
That's why I remember this match. It was the best match of the night by far. So CM Punk retains in a solid match. It was a solid wrestling match. I don't know when Finn Balor is not getting a world title ever again.
Yeah, I mean did he ever have it to begin with? Maybe once?
He had the Universal title for like a day, and he got hurt, and they stripped him of the belt, and Vince never trusted him and put another belt on him again, or at least a world title. So, and Triple H hasn't put a world title on him either. So, I guess he's just going to be upper mid card, a guy that can go out there, have a good match, but ultimately is not going to get anywhere. And if he does get a world title match, he's going to lose. Right. So. He lost multiple times to Roman Reigns when in that 3.5-year title run he had. He lost to CM Punk twice now, so they're telling the audience he's not world title material. By all this losing he's done in world title matches over the years. So,
right.
And also Judgment Day betrayed him on Raw this past week, so he turned babyface now. So,
oh boy, a babyface Finn Balor.
Yeah, I guess he's going to have a match with Dominic at Mania over this because, Dominic was the one who initiated him being kicked out of the Judgment Day. So there's 4 people left at this point. Raquel, Liv, Dominic, and the other guy. I forget his name right now. Who's the other guy? JD McDonough. Okay.
Yeah, JD McDonough.
So it's only 4 people left. It's a shell at what it was initially, like 3 or 4 years ago. There's no
like really, the NWO, they had all these guys, and then they started one by one kicking them out. Make up my mind here, just disband it. It had a place in wrestling, and now it's run its course. So
initially, it was Edge, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest, and that was probably the best iteration of it. Eventually, they kicked Edge out, and then they kicked out Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. After that, it just wasn't the same. The biggest star in that group was Dominic, and he still is. So, it just not impressive at all.
With Roxanne Perez, either she's got to sink or swim on her own.
What the hell has she been at?
No one's seen her.
I forgot about her. He was in Judgment Day too, and she just gone. I'm not sure if she got hurt or they took her off of television because she wasn't any good. I don't know. I forgot about her. So be interesting to see what they do with her. I'd be surprised if they send her back to NXT. That tells you everything you need to know that she's just not getting over in the main roster. They gave up on her. So.
Right. Kind of like Julia. I know Jim Cornette was talking about this on his drive-through the one time.
Mm-hmm.
Not drive-through, the experience that, send Julia back because she's not helping her cause and nobody gives a fuck that Julia is on the main roster.
So Julia is the women's U.S. champion still? I forgot about that. I assume she still has that belt. And they put Kiana James with her, who is just there. I mean, she's supposed to be her agent, but what does she do, actually? She barely wrestles. And when she does, it's not good. So I don't know. It's like they're killing off Julia slowly but surely. It's like a brutal kill.
Rhea Ripley. She gave Rhea Ripley a black eye.
Kiana
She
James
had her in a hold, and
she's green as grass. She's not ready for the main roster.
Right.
She's decent when she talks, but it's just her ring work is just she needs to go back to NXT alongside Julia to rebuild Julia because she was over in NXT. So all of a sudden they bring her up and they do nothing with her. Meanwhile, Stephanie immediately got the women's world title and she's over. So
she is so over, and I like her. I think she's going to go far in this. I really do, and I cannot wait to see more from her. Though I don't really think what are they doing with her too. I mean, the poor girl.
Her world title run has been meh because they put there's no girls that are ready for. There's no match with Rhea Ripley. There was no match with Charlotte Flair. There's no match with any stars. Instead, she just beat Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, that's not much of a title run. It's not her fault. Is the booker? It's creative has been terrible. So yeah, it's not her fault at all. Darth Magoo says Roxanne got hurt. Okay, well, I forgot about her. So.
Well, that sucks because, I mean, again, she has to sink or swim with this. And in NXT, you were saying that she didn't have an identity. So nobody knew what the fuck she was doing. And I guess same holds true there.
She was over in NXT, but she was a bad baby face. Then as a heel, she sounded fake. She was like a try hard. She tried way too hard to be a heel and just didn't work either. So she honestly fits better in AEW because she has good matches. So they love wrestling there, wrestling exhibitions. So yeah, I think she would fit better in AEW alongside Johnny Gargano. What are they doing with him? He fits better in AEW too.
Yeah.
So right before the main event, they finally opened up that box, and guess who it was? It was CM Punk's boy Danhausen.
Danhausen.
He got a job. He got a job in WWE from CM Punk. So obviously he wanted him there. So
and what did I tell you? I told you that I was like, who the hell is that? You're like, it's Danhausen. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. He looks like one of the demons. Has anyone seen The Exorcist? He looks like one of those demon faces that, shows up in The Exorcist. I'm sorry, he does. Yeah. So I can't take it seriously. Sorry, no.
So I told you when we were watching it, it's like, oh, it's Danhausen. That's CM Punk's boy. So he got a job from Punk basically. So they hired him because of Punk. Same thing with his wife. So Punk, one of their biggest stars. So they're trying to make him happy. So it's like, let's bring in his friend. What are you gonna do with him? I don't know. Have him backstage cursing people. That's what they're gonna do with him. He's not gonna have a match. Look how small he is.
Right.
Put him in the ring.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Put meat on his bones for all I know.
Look how small he is. Like, he's not gonna have a match. I mean, who's he gonna be credible against? Nobody. Even the job guys are big. So it's like, so you can't have a match. So he's just gonna be backstage saying, "You are cursed." That's what he's gonna do. So,
the rest would go,
yeah, and sell it like it's a big deal. When he cursed Dominic, that's when Dominic dropped the Intercontinental to Penta. like a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. I mean Raw. So it was because Danhausen cursed him. All right, so that's that. That was terrible. So the main event was the men's elimination chamber. Randy Orton defeated LA Knight. He lost again. Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Logan Paul, with Austin Theory and Paul Heyman, of course. So, I remember correctly, Seth Rollins interfered and gave a curb stop to somebody. I forget who it is right now. Logan Paul, obviously. He's shooting. So, I forgot.
That's because, that's, I saw this week, and I hope it's true, that Braun Breaker has been cleared for WrestleMania.
I haven't heard that.
Braun Breaker is back. I hope
that's true.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw it on X several times where they said that Braun Breaker was cleared for WrestleMania. Again, I don't know how true it is, but we shall see.
Yeah, so if that's true, that it's probably the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins match is back on. It's back on at least, and that's a way better match probably than Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, honestly. So, let's see. Then all of a sudden, I think Cody may have pinned Logan Paul Randy Orton did.
Yeah,
and then
I was happy about that. Fuck Logan Paul. Okay,
and then somehow, one way or another, Randy Orton's RKO's Cody Rhodes and pins him for the 1, 2, 3, and he gets the main event match with at the time was Drew McIntyre. He was the champion. So we
figured probably Cody was going to get it back because they weren't going to do they weren't going to do WrestleMania with Drew McIntyre. I love Drew McIntyre, but sorry, honey, no.
Either Cody's going to get the belt back, we thought, or it's going to be some kind of 4-way in the main event.
Right.
They initially apparently supposed to be a 4-way, but at the last second they decided to do Randy Orton and Cody 1-on-1, which is why Cody got the belt back at SmackDown like a week later.
Yeah.
So Cody defeats Drew McIntyre a week later. Honestly, once they booked that match, you knew that Cody's going to win because he's not going to do a job Drew McIntyre again. So it's like, okay, well, he's going to win this match. He's going to do Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes for the world title, WWE title. And it's a one-on-one matches to me are better than multi-man matches because it gets kind of confusing. Like who's doing what, who knows, So and they're usually clusterfucks. So especially in AEW, oh my god, I don't know what the hell's going on. When on the rare occasion I watch AEW, it's like what's going on? Like,
but they just have one guy versus one guy.
It's like in their tag matches. There's like multi-man tag team matches. I don't know who's legal. I don't know what's going on. They don't enforce any rules, so it's like, okay. So, and there was a match that multi-man tag match where somebody pinned somebody win the match, and neither of them were legal. I'm like, no, they weren't legal. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, it's just 1, 2, 3, we win. It's like you weren't legal. So how you
weren't
win?
legal, but it doesn't matter. Nobody can follow their fucking storylines.
And I'm sure Tony's not telling these morons, hey, neither you morons were legal, and you did a finish like that. I'm sure he booked the finish. Like, oh yeah, it's good. It's a good idea. Go do it. So that was the Elimination Chamber. It was okay. I mean, CM Punk and Finn Balor probably the best match, but it wasn't much to write home about. It wasn't great.
Right.
Like, oh my god, every match was great. It was definitely worth the $30. No,
all I said to you was, oh my god, what the fuck? That's what I kept saying, like, what the fuck?
So WrestleMania is the next pay-per-view. It's April 18th and 19th, so 2 nights. And we also gotta talk about Brock Lesnar and Obafemi accepting his open challenge. So I'm looking forward to that match because I like Obafemi.
Because Obafemi is in it. I don't really care for Brock Lesnar, but I want to see Obafemi. Sorry, I say it wrong all the time. Obafemi. I'm sorry. I do like Obafemi. I think we have great things to see from him, and I expect a lot better and a lot more things to see. So I'm actually excited to see that kind of match.
we have Brock coming out last week on Raw, and he was going to get revenge on Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins hit him with a chair, hit the curb stop on Paul. So he was out there to get revenge. He beat up all his Seth Rollins minions that were in masks and stuff, and he was going to confront Seth, and that's when it went dark, and Oba's music played, and the fans went nuts for it. It's like, and like, oh my God, we're going to get Oba and Brock. Eventually, he gets in the ring. Brock intimidates Seth Rollins. He leaves the ring, and then Oba hits his powerbomb finish on him and puts his foot on his chest. So, like, declaring supremacy over Brock, and then that's how the segment ends. And apparently, I noticed this later, but Brock Lesnar says "fuck you" to Obafemi, so he could read it in his lips.
Wow!
He could read it in his lips. So I didn't notice that when I first watched it on YouTube. Somebody I looked at it like, oh yeah, he said "fuck you" to Obafemi, so it's like, okay, this is getting interesting.
I will, like I said, I expect good things from Obafemi, and I can't wait to see more. I think that kid, he's got that thing, that thing. I don't know how to explain it.
The X Factor aura, that.
Yeah, Kurt had it, and a lot of other people have it. He has that charisma that you need to be and take a gimmick, because Obafemi looks like a beast. He is a beast. Yeah, and I think if you're going to have a beast like that, you need to take down someone like Brock Lesnar. I cannot wait to see it.
Well, so if he beats Brock Lesnar, it's like, okay, what's next? It has to be the world title. Like, what are you going to do? Give him the Intercontinental and just waste his time for a year or 6 months? Because you're going to have to beat him if he's going to drop the Intercontinental. Unless they pull the Ultimate Warrior with him where he doesn't drop the Intercontinental, wins the world title, and then forfeits the Intercontinental after winning the world title.
Yeah.
Because Warrior never lost the Intercontinental. He just forfeited the belt after he won the world title. So.
Right. Yeah. And I guess they kind of did that because they wanted to protect Warrior. Yeah. On my show, which will be coming out on the show I recorded today, will be coming out in April 12th. They kind of protected, so it was Larry Zbyszko versus Curt Hennig, and they kind of protected both because they disqualified Curt because he came off the top rope, and that was illegal. So, excuse me, they didn't pin Curt, but they didn't pin Larry Zbyszko either. So they kind of protected both men. So, so and that's the only way to do it. Or I would just put him in the world title picture. Imagine Obafemi versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the world title. I booked that match in a second. Or how about CM Punk?
Yeah. But here, I think that Roman's going to get that belt at Mania. I don't think he'll do a job for Punk. So, especially since he lost last year. Roman's not going to lose the WrestleMania 2 years in a row. So, when Seth Rollins pinned him and Paul Heyman turned on CM Punk, and it ended up doing Division, which was terrible. Seth and Paul Heyman had no chemistry, unlike with Brock and with Roman Reigns. So, it just wasn't going to work long term anyway. So, so I don't think Roman's losing again in the main event, and especially to Punk, because they've had heat like from 10 years ago, 15 years ago when
because he was against the Shield. Punk was against the Shield, right?
Punk he came up with the idea of the Shield to be his henchman because he was a heel champion then.
Okay.
It was supposed to be Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, who we know is John Moxley now, and somebody by the name of Cassius Ohno, who was friends with Punk.
Okay.
So they were all friends with Punk, and and they were supposed to be the Shield. Triple H sees it and kind of changes it. It's like, no, not Cassius Ohno. Put Roman Reigns in there instead. So that's how Roman Reigns ended up in the Shield, and Punk was pissed off about that. So Roman had heat with Punk because it's like he wasn't supposed to be in the Shield, and Roman didn't like Punk because he didn't want him in the Shield. So there was all this heat, and they're both workers. They're going to work together no matter what. But I don't think you can tell they really don't like each other. So
right.
They're professionals and they're going to work with each other. Unlike in AEW where the Hangnail Adam Page when what was it? He went off script against Punk. He just went into business with himself and cried about how Punk got what's his face? I forgot his name because he's such a nobody. Colt Cabana. He got Colt Cabana fired, and the Elite were all upset about that.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
he was a job guy, and he's a job guy in the Dark Order for years. That's where he was. He was not even Tony Khan was using him. He was kind of in the Dark Order, like just there. So Jim Cornette calls it the Dork Order. How about to call it the Dork Order? But,
or the Boar Horseman.
So,
but yeah, I mean, Hangnail and Adam Page, excuse me. I mean, he's just a whiny little bitch, I think Jim Cornette said.
Yeah, he's terrible as a babyface. He's terrible as a heel. I think they turned him at one point, but that didn't last long. I mean, he's just whiny. Even as a heel, he just comes off as fake because he's whiny. You know, he's not
he doesn't do promos very well. He's not very good at promos.
Yeah, he's not a grown man. He's a whiny little teenager. You know
and you just want to slap the shit out of him.
Tony put the belt on him once in his original run, and I specifically remember him being second match. And that's the worst place you can be on a card because the opener usually is the hot opener. Right. So people are like, yeah. It's like the second match, kind of like, it's like the rest match. The fans aren't that interested in it. They don't really cheer much for it. You put a world champion second match, you might as well take the belt off him because you're already admitting it's not working. So when you put him second match,
yeah, that's, I mean, usually they put champions in the main event because that's who you came to see. That's you know.
Or they open the show like Cody's done it occasionally. You open the show because the main event is either you open the show or you finish it. You're not going to be in the middle of the card as a world champion.
Right.
So now Hangman was supposed to be the big hero who defeated Jon Moxley and ended that terrible Black Horse or Blackpool Combat Club, whatever. They eventually became neo-Nazis and they were like white supremacists or something.
Not coming here.
Yeah, Moxley was a champion nearly a year and it was terrible every week. It was worse every week. And then all of a sudden, after he dropped the belt, he's a babyface. Wait, you were just a terrible heel that was putting plastic bags over guys and trying to kill them.
Yeah, right, literally. Right.
Now you're a babyface. Like it just flipped the exact opposite. Be a big babyface.
It makes no sense, but yet in Tony Khan's mind, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I went, who is it? Okay, sure, whatever. That's why I don't watch the shit. I'm sorry, I don't watch the shit. I can't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Moxley, event that he's a big babyface, and Hangman's supposed to be the big hero who finally defeated Moxley and ended the Black Bull Combat Club.
And everybody fucking hates him.
And he dropped the belt 2 months later to MJF. I was like, wait, it's supposed to be a big hero.
Right.
Like you're building the company around him, a babyface world champion, and
that's how you treat your heroes, I guess.
He drops the belt 2 months later to MJF. I get it, MJF's the biggest star they have, but come on, you're supposed to be building up Hangman as a big star too, and like you shouldn't go back on the well with MJF, especially since you were Hangman, just a big hero and defeated Moxley. So
right,
whatever. I think MJF's still a champion, even though I haven't. Like he's such like old news to me. Like
it's really disgusting how. I mean, they think they're killing it. And then listen to like Rhino or one of these fanboys on the internet. Oh, well, AEW's beating WWE. I went, what century are you talking about?
So let's see. MJF's still the world champion. Tekla is the women's world champion. I don't know who that is really. Willow Nightingale is a TBS champion still. Okay. Jon Moxley is the Continental champion. He always has to have a belt for some reason. Tony keeps putting belts on him. FTR.
Isn't that a step below him? Because he was the champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the world champion until I'll say Bound for Glory. What's their main card? All In. Yeah, that's it. That's their WrestleMania, basically. And FTR is the World Tag Team Champions, whatever. Kyle Fletcher is the TNT champion. He looks like Randy Orton, like from 2006. That's exactly what he looks like. Like he's a ringer for Randy Orton. Mystico and Jet Speed are the World Trios champion. By the way, Mystico was in WWE. He was Sin Cara, and he screwed up everything. Like, he couldn't do anything right in WWE. He was terrible. Like Cody Rhodes even told the story. He screwed up everything. The original Sin Cara, because they fired him and he put somebody else under the mask. So, like that's the original Sin Cara. He was terrible. I mean, he screwed everything up. Kaguya Okada is the international champion still. Jack Perry is the AEW national champion, whatever that is. And Divine Dominion, 2 girls here, the women's world tag team champions. Okay, those are your champions in AEW right now.
Never heard of any of them. And here's the funny part. They went back to the old way of doing the credits, or not credits, the review or the views. So however many people watch, and they still won't show. Tony Khan still will not make public the quarter hours for AEW. That means your shit sucks.
AEW had a pay-per-view last Saturday, in fact. So, so FTR with Stokely defeated the Young Bucks by pinfall for the AEW World Tag Titles. So the Young Bucks are finally putting over FTR. I mean, they wouldn't do it for years. Let's see. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Marina Shafir by pinfall. Everybody was banned from ringside, apparently. I don't know why. John Moxley defeated Konosuke Takeshita.
Take a shit. Just say take a shit.
By technical submission. Moxley submitting take a shit? I mean, Jesus. No time limit match for the AEW Continental Championship. So Moxley is beating Takeshita for no reason.
Takeshita.
Let's see.
But take a shit. Take a shit.
Divine Divinia, Megan Bayne, and Lena Cross defeated the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Will Nightingale by pinfall for the Women's World Tag Title. Who cares? We have Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana defeating Brody King by pinfall. Brody King is the guy who said "fuck ice," so the fans started chanting "fuck ice" for no reason. That's how he got over. That's his gimmick. And before that, he just was a journeyman. He wasn't over. Nobody really cared about him. His biggest role was when he was in Aleister Black's or Malachi Black's stable, the House of Black. That was when he was most over. And he was like a background figure in that group. So he came up with "fuck ice" at work. Now he's like mostly one of the biggest stars. I dropped my phone. Let's see. Now we have the AEW Women's World Title. Tekla defeating Chris Statlander in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So back in the day, the NWA World Title matches were automatically 2 out of 3 falls. So, and if WWE were to bring that back, make World Title matches 2 out of 3 falls, that would be interesting because the guy who loses the match can get a pinfall on the champion and protecting him, kind of, like, yeah, I may have lost, but I pinned you once. Do something like that, especially with a heel world champion. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, they look at it as they're beating their world champion once, and they don't want to beat their world champion. So there's 2 sides of looking at that. Let's see. The next match, Jesus, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches on the main card. That's double what WWE does. They have 4 matches on their main cards now.
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5, and the rest of the time is filled with commercials. So that's WWE with their pay-per-views now. It's not good either. So, all right. So we have Mystico and Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey. Every time I think of Speedball, I think of cocaine.
I do too. I do too. I was gonna say Speedball enema, right?
Yeah. They defeated the Don Callis family, Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis for the Trios Championship. So Okada's just going through the motions. He gives zero fucks because Tony Khan is paying him $5 million a year. So he already got his money. He don't care. He just goes through the motions, lazy as hell, and he says beach. That's his gimmick. Is beach. Bitch, in his Japanese accent. Beach. So, and he gives the finger to people like he's Steve Austin. So that's his gimmick, basically.
Sorry, it's already been done.
Yeah. All right,
No
and it's done better. It was done better by Steve Austin, So.
Yeah, because people actually like Steve Austin. So
yeah. All right, the next match on the card was Andrade and Idolo with Don Callis defeating Bandito by pinfall. So Andrade's back in AEW after getting his ass fired from WWE. He disappeared for 3 weeks in WWE and screwed over. I think who was it? Was it? I think it was Dragon Lee or somebody. They were a tag team. Oh no, it was Ray Phoenix, Penta's brother.
I was gonna say Ray Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah, he screwed Ray Phoenix and disappeared for 3 weeks. They're supposed to get the tag team title, but they ended up, not getting the belts because he disappeared. He fucked off to I don't know where for 3 weeks, and then he came back, did nothing with him. Eventually, they fired him. But the moron didn't look at his contract and went back to AEW a week later. He violated his 90-day no-compete. So TKO wanted to keep him off television for a year. Eventually, they came to a deal where they released him, and he ended up back in AEW anyways. But, yeah, it was just Tony Khan's a moron. Andrade's a moron. Didn't bother looking at his contract to see, dude, you have a 90-day no-compete. I'm not going to put you on television. Tony Khan should have been smarter and actually read his contract. Because now he got in trouble because he put him on TV way too early.
Right.
All right. The next match, Jesus Christ, a Tornado Trios match. Jesus, there's 6 guys in the ring at the same time. No tags because they're too lazy to book a match where there's tags and there's a proper tag match. But
right.
Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong defeated the Dogs, David Finlay and Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors.
What the fuck, the Dogs? I guess I couldn't figure out which one they wanted to be.
Their tag team name is the Dogs.
Okay.
Yes, whatever. And in the main event, we have a last chance Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. MJF defeating the hangnail Adam Page. And since Page lost, he would never be able to challenge for the AEW World Championship again.
Thank the goddess for that.
That's the main event. That was terrible. I gotta pick up my phone. But yeah, I mean that's what was this pay-per-view? Revolution or whatever it was. Revolution, yeah.
Revolution.
Oh, also Edge and Christian came back at this pay-per-view, so now they're back as a tag team in 2026.
Yeah,
in 2026, Edge and Christian are a tag team. They're back. They're probably gonna win the tag team titles for FTR at some point because Tony is a mark for the older guys from the Attitude Era. So he's hired mostly, if they're still working, he's hired guys from the Attitude Era. Edge and Christian, he hired Ric Flair. I'm not sure he's still there, but I assume he's still paying Ric Flair.
Well, he's under contract, I think.
Yeah, I think he's under contract, and Tony never fired him. So he's paying Ric Flair to take his money and drink as much alcohol as he wants and get drunk and make videos making an ass out of himself. That's what Ric Flair's doing.
And you can pay $900 for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to waste $900 for a guy who's wasted.
So that's a website you can go to book celebrities and wrestlers to do videos. It's like I think Jim Cornette used to do this. He would.
Yeah, but he did it professionally with lighting and in an office, and it looked professional.
He would pay him to cut promos on themselves and to basically blast them. So I guess Cornette's so good at that. So that's what they're paying him for. But I wouldn't pay somebody to cut a promo on me and slam and just destroy me.
Don't get married, stay single. I'm like, he's drunk. Rick was like,
"Why are you getting married, motherfucker?" And he was drunk. He's like
Rick. Totally drunk. Like, just stay girlfriend, boyfriend. Like, dude, shut up.
Ric Flair would know. He's had 6 failed marriages, and he's paying alimony 5 or 5 ex-wives or
he's over 5. He's definitely over 5 on this one.
He's like, "Why are you getting married, motherfucker?" He's
Just
like,
stay
he's
boyfriend
barely.
because she gets half everything. Like, dude,
And
shut
Rick
the
would
fuck up.
know. Rick would know because he got married 5 times and doesn't know what a prenup is. After the first one, you realize, hey, I need a prenup, or else or else I'm gonna
Something
get
like
screwed.
that, yeah. Or you get married because you actually love the person. I don't know. He got married and then he literally cheated on every fucking wife he's ever had.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to keep it in your fucking pants, or do your wife, because that's I'm guessing that's why you married her in the first place.
Rick, one of his marriages ended because, and this is like really like what really you like so his wife wanted, I think it was his third wife, wanted him to like come to the hotel room because she was traveling with him, and Ric Flair was talking to John Cena, and Ric Flair was like, "Well, I'm not going up to the hotel room," and he stayed drinking with John Cena, and she's like, "You know what? This guy is more interested in being Ric Flair than being married to me." So that's when she divorced him.
I mean, yeah, you kind of, if your wife is out with you, I would think you want to spend time with her. I mean, no offense, I don't mind the drinking with John Cena, but I mean, there is a time where it's just us time.
Yeah. And Rick never did that. He just wanted to be Ric Flair.
Right.
Because he hasn't let go of the gimmick. And even to this day, that dude is drinking his ass off nearly every day. How does he have a liver? I don't know. I mean, he's lucky, I guess, but because he should have died of liver cirrhosis a long time ago. I mean, Jim Ross told the story once that Ric Flair drank like 20 shots of vodka just back to back, and he was like hammered.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Ross was with him. He drank like 1 or 2 and then went up to his room. Ric Flair kept drinking the entire night, and he's like, and eventually, Flair? No, that was in WWF when he got hammered and left the hotel room, and Vince and everybody pissed in his bed in the hotel room because Vince got drunk too.
Yeah,
that was a different story I'm thinking of.
But
where
Brett told about that story too, that he was with him and Kurt and a couple others, I think Rick Flair. Yeah, literally Rick Flair, I don't know if it was Rick Rude, it might have been the Davey Boy Smith, had all been invited back to Rick Flair's hotel room, and he was off doing his own thing. He was fucking some girl, some other hotel.
He left.
And literally left them to their own devices. They're pissing on his bed. They acted like the bed was a urinal.
So it was Vince.
Brett told that story.
Davey Boy did it too. A bunch of them pissed on his bed.
And I think it was Davey Boy. Owen, I think might have been there too.
I remember like Ben sticking out to me, like what the hell he was doing there and pissing on his bed too. So that was the night where they went to a strip club and they all got drunk and they all hit their finishes on Vince, including Bret Hart and Neidhart.
Right.
So that was that night. And I remember Bret looking at Hogan, is like, "Hey, can I hit my finish on Vince?" He's like, "Go ahead. You're not going to remember it anyways." So they all hit their finishes on Vince, and Vince he wanted to take all his guys' finishers. Like, yeah, he's definitely drunk.
Yeah, because he wasn't going to be drinking with them anymore. I think there was like something about like I forgot what it was, but like something was going to happen where Vince was not going to be allowed to drink with the boys anymore.
Yeah, well, it was the drug testing policy. Remember, right after the steroid trial, Vince introduced his strict drug testing policy, and the boys couldn't do anything. They couldn't smoke weed. They couldn't do steroids. Nothing. So that's why this was like their last hurrah, basically. Let's go out and let's party all night. Because tomorrow we're not going to do this anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, this is 93-ish, I'm going to say. Steroid trial was 92. This had to be right after that. So late 92, early 93. When Hogan was still there, because I remember Bret Hart saying Hogan was at the strip club that night. So,
of course.
Here's the modern wrestlers, there's just no interesting stories like that anymore because they're all cookie cutter and they don't want to get in trouble because WWE is publicly traded and they don't want to, get fired or whatever or get fined or suspended or whatever. So we don't get those interesting wrestling stories, like when Haku would beat up 20 people by himself, or he got drunk and beat up 20 people.
He was a bad dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he was legit badass.
Mm-hmm.
A total legit badass.
There was a story where Haku bit off somebody's nose. Like he just bit off somebody's nose because they offended him. There's another time where Haku was talking to, I'm not sure who it was, but Eric Bischoff and Greg Gagne interrupted him, and and Haku was like, "What the hell are you doing? I mean, this is not, you're interrupting me." And both Bischoff and Greg Gagne apologized to Haku. Like, we're so sorry, Haku. Don't beat me up.
Don't hurt me.
Yeah. And Bischoff admitted he didn't fire Haku because he was scared of him.
Yeah.
So
there was one time. Oh, who was it? I think it was Scott Norton. Told the story of how he accidentally got his finger in Haku's eye, and it went in pretty far. And Haku actually apologized to him. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. I don't hit you in the eye."
I'm the one that should be sorry.
I mean, he did apologize up and down, but it was Haku going, "I'm sorry," because he had that big afro kind of thing hanging in, and he couldn't see to poke him in the eye, and his eye actually went into his eye.
My favorite Haku story was when he had a match with what's his face, Hogan's friend, Rhodes Beefcake, and Beefcake complained to the office that Haku hit him too hard, and the office told Haku. So Haku got in the locker room, grabbed Brutus like this, and had him feet dangling. And Brutus was not a small guy.
No,
he just had him like this, and he was like choking him. And they had, and the boys were all scared to death, so they went and got the one guy that Haku respected, Hogan. Hogan walked in and was like, "Oh, Mom, put him down. I mean, you don't want to hurt him." It's like, and then he finally put him down because Haku respected Hogan, because Hogan was drawing the money. So, and even though he probably shouldn't respect Hogan, but he did because he was drawing the money. So, the only reason why Haku was wrestling because to support his family, like. He wasn't really like a mark for himself. He didn't care whether he won or lost. He just wanted to support his family.
Right. Wow.
So meanwhile, who's a mark for themselves? Hogan. I mean, he never lost. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you hear these Haku stories, but then like, I think they showed him a bunch of stuff, and Haku's just sitting there laughing. He's like, he thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, because a lot of these stories are like allegedly and rumors and stuff, and they were asking him to try to confirm some of these stories, and he just laughed at them. He didn't really say much, It's like it makes sense because he wanted to maintain his aura. It's like, hey, I'm not going to say whether it's true or not, but I'm going to maintain my aura because.
Well, and the boys were really scared of him. They indeed were scared of him. They would not. They would call him sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Oh my God! Yeah, it was. It was interesting.
Haku, one of the few guys that nobody messed with. Bad News Brown also. I mean, he was somebody nobody really messed with, and allegedly he had heat with Andre, with Boss, and allegedly Boss called him the N-word a few times. So I don't know how true that is. That was according to Bad News Brown. At least he didn't like.
Yeah,
Andre
I
for
saw that
reason.
interview.
So I don't know how true it is.
They asked him about Sapphire.
Yeah,
he didn't like that one either.
Yeah, that was Dusty's manager. She was an actress that Vince hired to be like Dusty's manager. Mm-hmm. And, it was like...
But she loved Dusty Rhodes. She loved him. She was a true fan of Dusty Rhodes. And she was the daughter said she was very disappointed that when they broke her and Dusty up, she left wrestling. She didn't even want any part of it anymore. She really liked Dusty.
Like Vince turned her heel and she got bought off by Ted DiBiase and she disappeared right after that. I didn't really see him. We didn't see much of her again or any of her after that.
I like that. That's fine. I can't do the Dusty accent, but Sapphire went to the other side of the street, and that's fine.
they had chemistry, and eventually Dusty would leave for WCW again, so that probably wouldn't have lasted much longer. But still, it makes no sense they turned her heel, like she was a baby face. I mean, that's what she was hired to do, and Vince thought a good idea to turn her heel and join DiBiase, but she wouldn't. Her character wouldn't have done that. It was more. She was she was a baby face who was with Dusty. That's all she did, and all of a sudden you want to turn her heel. No wonder why she left. It's like she quit right after that because you didn't see her much with Ted DiBiase again. So,
well, like I said, her daughter admitted that she was very hurt by that. She wanted to stay in wrestling and be with Dusty because Dusty and her were really good friends.
Yeah, and but the issue is Dusty would leave right after that to go back to WCW, if I remember correctly.
Right,
so
and I think that was the plan. But she adored him. Really,
if she would have stayed in wrestling, I would be surprised if Dusty gave her a job in WCW. I don't know what she would have done, but because Dusty wasn't going to do the polka dotted thing in WCW. So let's see. So what happened? Oh, I talked about that already. On Raw, Randy Orton's supposed to get interviewed by Michael Cole, but instead he's on the phone talking to somebody, saying, "Hey, basically, he's gonna bring in a mystery guy to help him with Cody." And Randy made the comment of, "There's more than one royal family," or like Cody's entrance basically is like wrestling has more than one royal family. So he's kind of teasing that it could be somebody from a prominent wrestling family. Don't know who. I mean, people are speculating could be Shane McMahon, but
they're also speculating it could be. Well, I don't know. This is just James Romero. Sorry if I butchered his name, but he's saying that it could be Ted DiBiase Jr. now that he's been found.
It could be. You know why? Because the Legacy stable was Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr. But that was the original Legacy stable.
Wouldn't it be cool if it was Joe Hennig? I would be like, oh my God!
Yeah, that would be interesting, but nobody would know who Joe Hennig is. He hasn't been in WWE in 7 or 8 years.
We love you, Joe.
Yeah, so to bring him back to this angle is if it'll get over like a wet fart in church. Like nobody's gonna know who he is. I mean, it's unfortunate. He was good when he's in WWE.
Curtis Axel, yeah.
No,
Curtis Axel.
It's like, who is this guy? Why would Randy bring him in, and try to help him with Cody in the feud?
Because he's Curtis Axel. He's the son of Mr. Perfect. Unless they do that Mr. Perfect Jr. thing. Please don't do that.
Oh, God. I mean, that was Vince initially considered that when he hired him. It was in NXT. It was like, let's call him Mr. Perfect Jr., but that was scrapped rather quickly. Instead, they gave him the equally terrible name of Michael McGillicuddy. Just awful, just an awful name they gave him. So it went from bad to equally as bad. It wasn't better.
Curtis Axel was better because that was kind of like the name of his real, the real name of his father, but then also the axe, the axe attack. So Curtis Axel.
So it kind of made what's what I'm looking for. It paid homage to his father and grandfather, so who were legends in wrestling. Unfortunately, either because Curtis Axel didn't have the charisma his dad had, or Vince misused him horribly too. A combination of the two. He just didn't work out. I think
Vince didn't treat him right.
No, he horribly misused him. For years, he was there just doing jobs, and then Vince decided, you know what? I'm going to push him. We're going to give him the Intercontinental and give him Paul Heyman. Actually, Paul Heyman managed him for a month or two. And then he took away Paul Heyman. He dropped the Intercontinental and went right back to being a job guy. So Vince just lost interest in him, or lost he thought he's not a main eventer. So fuck it, let's take away Paul Heyman from dropping.
Right, if he's not going to be like his dad, I get.
Yeah.
I mean, Kurt had that charisma. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Joe's stuff to say that he did, but they showed a video which was kind of cool to watch. but it was kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. It was Triple H when he kind of collapsed. Do you know who he was facing? He was facing Joe Hennig. That was his opponent for the night, and you can tell that he's completely out of it. Triple H was completely out of it.
That was the first time that his heart issues are kind of popping up, but nobody really knew what happened and why he collapsed during that match he had with Joe. So so eventually, a few years after that, they would realize what it was, because Triple H's entire family, the males at least, have a heart defect.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on top of that, Triple H was juicing. He was putting the juice in himself too, which also enlarges your heart. So it was like a double whammy. So he had to retire suddenly like that, because it's like he had a pacemaker put in, and it's like you can't wrestle anymore. You're done.
Yep. You're done.
So he's like, okay. Became
but I was like, oh, that's Joe Hennig that he's, and I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this, because how dare they keep the camera on him? Usually when a guy is injured, what do? They take the camera completely off of him and shoot the person in the ring. This was just like, they literally had the, I couldn't even hardly watch it, but you could see Joe kind of go, what the hell happened? And then he gets out of the ring, and you see is Triple H on camera, and everyone's just like, what the fuck's going on?
It was kind of
what's happening?
It's kind of like '96 when Shawn Michaels collapsed in a match with Owen Hart, but that was an angle that they filmed, because if you guys remember, Shawn Michaels got beat up by a Marine like before that, and the WWF claimed that it was 7 Marines, but it was 1 Marine. People were there said, no, he got beat up by 1 Marine. He got his ass kicked because he was flirting with his girlfriend. And the Marine warned him, stop doing. He still did it. So like, okay, well, he got the shit kicked out of him by a Marine. And it was 1. It wasn't 7, but they claimed it was 7 Marines. Darth Magoo, first time watching you guys. I have to keep this show in mind. When do you normally stream? Saturdays, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Normally stream.
Yep.
Unless it's a pay-per-view, then it's Sunday.
Right. As long as we can do it Sunday. Next week, unfortunately, I have pictures with my son. We're going to do the pictures with the bunny, I call it, or the Ostara bunny, whatever you want to call it. So we will not be on next week. We will be back in April, I think.
The build up to WrestleMania.
Right. The build up to WrestleMania. So yes, next weekend, unfortunately, we will not be able to do Pro Wrestling Talk. But yeah, usually it is Saturday nights at 8 o'clock.
This is when you schedule to change. Subject to change, but we usually do it Saturday 8 o'clock. So you want to come check us out, subscribe to the channel, and
what did I say? Did I say Sunday?
What?
I'm sorry.
You said Sunday.
I thought I said Saturday.
No, you said Sunday because on pay-per-view nights we stream.
Right,
Sunday.
on pay-per-view nights because we're too busy watching the pay-per-view going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, usually we're on Saturday nights at 8 a.m. No, 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
I'm doing laundry that time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's too early in the morning. I'm still sleeping. I get so tired from work, because I work Monday through Friday, and I'm just like, so I'm out cold. But tomorrow morning, my father is going to take me out for breakfast, so I have to be in bed early tonight.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, Edge and Christian have a match with the Bucks for AEW Dynasty.
We can't call them the Young Bucks anymore because how young are they now? They're not that young,
40.
really.
Yeah. They're almost 40. Honestly, they're almost 40. They're around our age. And they're not young anymore. Yeah. So they still call themselves the Young Bucks, but they're not young anymore. Mina Shirakawa versus Marina Shafir in a no-holds-barred match. Again, no DQ. This has happened last week on Dynamite. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Mark Davis. I don't know who that is.
Speedball Enema.
Yeah.
Every time you say that, that's what I think of. Speedball Enema.
Yeah. Then we have, for some reason, we have Swerve Strickland daring Kenny Omega to put his EVP position on the line in the match.
I thought that dude was out of wrestling. I thought Kenny Omega was hurt.
No,
He
man,
lied.
he was out, but I guess he's back. I don't know. Oh, also, Will Ospreay came back at the pay-per-view last week. I saw that on the internet. Oh my God, Will Ospreay is back, and they're all celebrating the fact he was back. Look, I'm glad that he's able to walk. He had a broken neck.
He had a neck fusion, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And Tony let him wrestle in that cage match right before he had neck fusion surgery. Like that's just a liability. If he couldn't walk, then if he was paralyzed, he's gonna sue AEW for letting him go out there. Even though he wanted to go out there, but it doesn't matter because legally Tony Khan is responsible for that because he let him out there. Let's see. The Death Riders versus Bang Bang Gang.
What the fuck?
That sounds kind of sexual.
I guess.
Will Ospreay calls out John Moxley and brawls with the Death Riders. Whatever.
The Boar Horseman for sure.
Yeah, Timeless Tony Storm has been taken out backstage. Somebody beat her up. 21-man blackjack battle royal for the AEW National Championship. Like, what's with the multi-man matches?
That's what they're known for. You said it yourself. That's what Tony Khan does. Yeah. And it's like, knock it the fuck off. We don't like this shit.
Let's see. Yeah, so that's what happened on Dynamite this past week. Will Ospreay is back and out for revenge at AEW Revolution. Let's see. On Collision, it was Commander versus Mark Davis. Okay, I don't know who Commander is or Mark Davis. Kevin Knight versus El Clone, which is Spanish for somebody who's cloned, basically. Let's see.
Is that like hologram? Only the Spanish version?
It's like I think Tony did an angle where hologram. This is supposed to be the heel version of hologram. That's why it's called the Clone or El Clone. That was an angle exclusive to Collision, though. Nobody watched it, but I did hear about it. So, let's see. Chris Statlander dared Tekla to deliver more lashes. I guess she was lashing her. The Demand versus the Bang Bang Gang. Who cares? Swerve Strickland and Bandito crashed the main event. Brodito, not Bandito. Andrade Idolo versus a Máscara Dorada. So that was Collision. There's something else I want to talk about and I forgot. So let's see. So April 4th or 5th is NXT's TakeOver pay-per-view on Saturday.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
That'll be Easter weekend.
Yeah, it's like April 4th. Yeah, something like that. So I gotta check again. But AAA is airing every Saturday at 11 Eastern on their YouTube channel. So that's where AAA ended up on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so is Undertaker is booking the shit with Jeremy Borash and Conan. So it's like a 3-man crew booking.
And is it true? I saw that Conan needed a leg amputated, or was that just bonk?
I saw that too. I don't know how true that was. I thought it was just BS, but I don't know whether it's true or not.
I don't think it is. I think someone said it was totally crap.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Conan has like diabetes or something, so which is why his extremities.
Well, I mean, I know that if you don't control the diabetes, you can lose your extremities.
Yeah.
But I mean,
no,
I don't know. True. I saw something about it, but I think it was totally wrong.
Looks like it's true. I mean, AEW's Jeff Jarrett says prayers up for Conan after reported leg amputation story. Reports Lucha Libre icon Conan hospitalized in San Diego undergoes leg amputation surgery. Updates on Conan following reports of hospitalization. So, Yahoo reported, Conan hospitalized, undergoes leg amputation surgery. So it's true because Yahoo's reporting it. I don't think they would lie about this story.
Okay, I mean, I hate to hear that because I liked Conan. You're like, oh, olale, arriba, lasa. And the whole crowd would do it with him. So they loved him. We loved him.
Yeah,
He
I
was
liked him
quite the
too.
personality.
And he was a part of the clique very briefly in WWF when he was there. He was under that mask. I forget what he was called in WWF, but he's the guy that
Max
blue
Moon.
mask.
Moon.
Max Moon. Thank you. Yeah, and he was briefly a part of the clique with Shawn Michaels and Diesel, Kevin Nash, and Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, and I think that's it. Yeah, it was X-Pac too was a part of it too, or Waltman. And they were pretty much running the WWF at that point because Vince loved Shawn Michaels for some reason, even though Shawn and he put the belt on Kevin Nash for like a year and his reign sucked, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash was the champion for like almost a year until Bret Hart beat him for the belt Survivor Series. So it was, but Kevin Nash won it from Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund was the champion very briefly and back in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Nash beats him at the Garden. He runs with the belt. I remember Nash telling the story, his first defense against Bret Hart, and Vince decided to make it a DQ. So instead of Nash beating Hart clean in the ring, middle of the ring, he got DQ'd, and Bret got DQ'd, and he retained that way. So obviously what happened is Bret was like, I'm not taking a fall to Kevin Nash. So it's like, we got to do something else. And Vince, okay, let's do a disqualification.
I mean, that's basically what they did, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think Nash liked it very much, even though he loved Bret Hart, but.
Yeah, Nash didn't like it. He was like, he did a baseball analogy. It's like, yeah, I'm the star pitcher, but I got taken out after 80 pitches, so it was, they didn't give me a full start. Instead, it was, I was barely, I didn't even beat him by pinfall, beat him by disqualification. So,
yeah.
And it was obvious that Bret didn't want to put over Kevin Nash. So it's like, you know what, let's just do a DQ. And then when he dropped the belt to Bret at Survivor Series, he just pinned him. Bret just did a cradle and just pinned him. Mm-hmm. So Nash, Bret Hart had pinned him, but Bret Hart didn't want to get pinned by Kevin Nash. So there's like, Nash likes Bret, but there was kind of like, that I thought that was bullshit. Nash said he thought it was bullshit.
Yeah, well, and Bret had his reasons because he didn't really respect Kevin Nash at the time.
Yeah. Because Nash was Bret, not Bret. He was Shawn Michaels' muscle pretty much. He was his manager. And then he won the Intercontinental like a couple of years after he debuted, and then Vince made him the champion. Made him because at the time they were doing that massive steroid testing and nobody was big. Right. And like Vince was like, and they did a battle royal or something, and Vince was like, look how big he is. Like, he's naturally big. He's not doing any steroids. And look at him. So I think it was Luger. Luger told Nash, they're going to make you the champion, dude. I mean, Vince and Shane McMahon nearly came on themselves. Some of how big you were. That was literally what Luger said. Like, they almost came on themselves. That's how much they loved you, man, in the ring. They're going to make you champion.
I like that when Nash goes, I'm the shit, and they don't sell it. The announcers don't sell it. Big Man Diesel,
Yeah, Vince
but
said,
I could just see Vince cringing, like, shit.
What are you doing, Nash? It's like, Vince was on commentary. It's, well, that's Big Bad Diesel for you. Try to desperately get away from that.
Yeah.
He was like, what are you doing, Nash? So, yeah, let's see. So we got. So what? Anything happened on Raw other than we talked about? Because I don't.
To be honest, I didn't even watch it.
The only thing I watch now is the pay-per-views and like the recaps of Raw and SmackDown. I really don't sit down and watch the shows. They're brutal to watch.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't watch them either. And I'm not trying to say a slight to WWE because I watch WWE more than I watch AEW. I don't watch WWE at all. Or AEW, excuse me. I don't watch AEW at all. But it's just at this point, it's not interesting. I'd rather watch old stuff. And everybody knows, that I have a channel on. I have a channel, and it's called Nobody Beats Kurt Hennig Nobody. And you can find me. Usually, I'm on Rumble at 9:00. My shows usually come out now. There will be a couple of programming stuff because we do. I had the lovely Angel Rivera on for Kurt's birthday bash, which his birthday is next Saturday. So this coming Saturday would be Kurt Hennig's birthday. He would have been 68. Yeah, 68 years old. So if he was still with us. But he would have been 68. So March 22nd, tomorrow, which is Sunday, both Rumble and YouTube episodes will be coming out. It is episode 131 that will be coming out on the 22nd. Now, on Saturday, both YouTube and Rumble will be coming out again on Saturday on Kurt's birthday. We're going to do the same thing for my birthday. I have to float some dates for kids, and I'll float some dates for you.
Yeah,
so that we can do a birthday bash to me. The guys are going to sing to me.
Yeah.
So get your singing voices in. Me. So it'll be a birthday thing, but we're going to do. So I just did April 12th, and I'm going to have both YouTube and them come out on the 12th. So then on April 20th, which is my birthday, that'll be a Monday. So that'll give you some time in between, and then we'll go back to regular scheduled programs.
So. Roman Reigns and CM Punk did another in-ring promo where they tore each other down and talk shit about each other, and then eventually what set CM Punk off was Roman Reigns calling him old, so he punched him in the face, which was a weird thing to really
Well, because CM Punk is just as older, I think.
He's older than Roman. He's nearly 50, and Roman's early 40s, so. That neither of them really young, but Roman's 7 or 8 years younger than him, so that's why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love CM Punk, but you're a little older than Reigns, so how does that work?
So we also had Danhausen cursing the New Day.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
On Raw, Penta defended the Intercontinental versus Dragon Lee and beat him. So, Becky Lynch attacked AJ Lee. So they're setting up a WrestleMania match, obviously.
We can talk about this because I talked about this on my show. Dennis Rodman is going to the WWE Hall of Fame. What the fuck?
Dennis Rodman never made an appearance in WWE. It was WCW. So they own WCW. So that's, I guess, why they're justifying him going into the Hall of Fame. That... him in WC, he was in WCW for a bit. There was that. I told this story. I think it was yesterday's show, but I'm telling it again. There was a one time where Dennis Rodman skipped practice for the finals to appear in WCW television. He was hanging out with Hulk and drinking beer and stuff with Hulk with Bischoff instead of actually practicing because he was supposed to be on the Bulls for the NBA finals. So
and of course. What I said on my show today was I couldn't understand because he never really made money for WWE. So I don't understand why. I get that WWE bought out WCW, has all their rights and stuff. But again, I don't remember Dennis Rodman ever making money for WWE. But again, I mean, they have Trump in there. So I guess I shouldn't be too shocked or too surprised or whatever. But it doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. Rodman was in WCW, and then he did that brief thing with Kurt in Australia. Yeah. And, I'm not saying that he actually, when I watched that match with him and Kurt, I didn't know who the fucking babyface was. I was like, wait, is Kurt the babyface or who is the babyface? Because there were people cheering and booing for Rodman, but then there were also people cheering and booing for Kurt too, so I'm kind of I'm confused.
I thought I thought Rodman, if he made an effort in wrestling, could have made it because he was a very unique character. Even in the NBA, he was like he stuck out. He's very unique with the hair and with the with the jewelry on his face. And if he really made an effort, he could after retiring from the NBA, he probably could have made it in wrestling. He had a brief run, but and he never his only appearances with the NWO, and you never really saw him again in WCW at least. But and that was his last appearances really in wrestling. Like he never really tried wrestling again.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we could bring that up because I brought that up on my show.
Rodman going in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's
yeah.
fine. I mean, the WWE needs star power, quite frankly, for the Hall of Fame because right now it's just Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, somebody else, and Dennis Rodman. So they needed some star power for that. So it's like, okay, stick Dennis Rodman in the Hall of Fame, whatever. He will bring attention to it, that's for sure. Because this year the main inductee is supposed to be Stephanie McMahon. What does she do other than basically refusing to put people over and slapping everybody? That's her legacy in wrestling. Because she refused to put anybody over when she wrestled.
Right. She was slapping big guys too.
Yeah. Like she would bury the guys. She would slap them and they couldn't do anything to her.
Right.
Because she's the boss's daughter. So it's like they couldn't, and Vince wouldn't let her take bumps anymore. So especially after she got those, remember she got the implants, she was like this. She took them off, I think, eventually. But she would just bury the guys and just slap the shit out of them week after week. And it's like, and the guys can't get a rebuttal because she's a woman and they were PG and Vince didn't want her taking bumps anymore. So it's like, why have her slapping these guys and burying them if, they're not going to get a rebuttal? Mm-hmm. So just don't do it at all. But they did it every week pretty much.
Yeah, because they literally buried the guy, Mm-hmm. I don't know what they were trying to prove in that. It really didn't make any sense.
I thought it was Stephanie putting herself over. She could beat up the guys and they couldn't do anything to her. Even though it's on her podcast, she comes across as a nice person, but she's like an egomaniac, like her dad is. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, like father, like daughter.
Yeah, so she in her podcast she comes across as nice and relatable and personable and stuff, but you ask some of the boys at the time how they felt about her. They're not going to tell the best stories about her. So
she was the boss's daughter. I mean,
yeah.
They're only going to say so much.
R-Truth and Damian Priest won the tag team titles on SmackDown last night. So something else. So Damian Priest has really fallen down the card since that world title run. Now he's with R-Truth winning the tag titles. So not surprising since he got a terrible run, but as champion.
Wow.
Let's see. Danhausen spooks The Miz and Kit Wilson. He's appearing on both shows. He's all over these shows now.
Well, yeah, it's because they literally have to, do this crap because it's really quite sad. I don't get why I get why he's there. Seeing Punk's boy, but
yeah,
do something with him then. Make him wrestle if he can. Put him in NXT.
He got that job from his buddy, I mean, it's sometimes it's good to have friends in high places, that's obvious. That's the only reason why they hired him, because and his gimmick fit better in WWE. Quite frankly, he's getting over with the fans. They're cheering him, so his gimmick fits better in the WWE, where you have the casual fans and the kids. They would love someone like Danhausen, so. It makes sense they hired him, but at the same time, it's obvious. He got the job because of his friendship with Punk. We also had Jelly Roll coming back. He confronted Randy Orton after he turned heel on Cody. Jelly Roll again, humiliating Kit Wilson and slam poetry, whatever that is. I guess they did a poetry battle or something.
I guess.
Then we had Randy Orton beating up Matt Cardona. For no reason, basically to prove how much of a heel he is now.
Okay.
And that was SmackDown. he beat the crap out of Matt Cardona, and I guess to prove that he's a heel now, because the fans are still overwhelmingly cheering Randy Orton. So, like when his music popped on SmackDown, he got the biggest pop of the night, a babyface pop, even though he destroyed Cody Rhodes and basically turned heel on him. So he's supposed to be a bad guy, but they're still being cheered. So, and again, we said it before too, but there's no way they're going to boo Randy Orton. Like, there's zero chance in hell that WWE fans will boo Randy Orton. He's at that point where he's a legend and he's always going to get cheered no matter what he does.
Right.
Same thing with John Cena last year. So Cody is stuck in an impossible situation now, second year in a row, where he has to get himself over as champion with a legend babyface or heel, Randy, or both heels, that are being cheered. I don't know if you're gonna pull that off. At least the match will be better, like we said, because the Cena match was just awful at WrestleMania. Like,
yeah,
it's one of the worst main events I've ever seen in WrestleMania. It's like, oh, this is just brutal. Like, and then Cody, you knew Cody's gonna lose because Cena's supposed to get 17, and have the most reigns of all time in WWF or WWE, excuse me. So, yeah, and then I'm pretty sure Randy's going to get this belt this year because he just turned heel, and it looks like he's calling up somebody, a legendary wrestling family. It could be Ted DiBiase Jr. It'd be funny if it was him after he got found not guilty in that trial, but it's probably, I'm thinking it's I don't know who it is. Like, because it's not, I know for a fact it can't be Vince. It
can't be Shane either, because he's too old.
Yeah. What's Vince going to do on television? He can't get involved physically. Neither really can Shane. Last time he appeared, he tore his quad.
Exactly.
So he's too old.
Could it be Braun Breaker? Because, he's cleared, and he's part of a prominent family, maybe. Second generation.
Maybe it could be him, because if he's cleared and he doesn't have a match at Mania, him joining Randy Orton would be interesting. Because
so it would be kind of, we want to see Seth kind of get his revenge.
Yeah, it's another thing.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
So if he's cleared, he's gonna have to have that match with Seth eventually, and Seth get his revenge for when he betrayed him. But they can't just ignore that thing, It's like, oh yeah, they're sticking with Randy and ignore what he did to Seth 6 months ago. Even though WWE's done that before, they conveniently ignored certain things in order to do the story they wanted to. So it's especially happened when Vince was the booker. He would just start angles and just drop them all together and without explanation.
Matt Cardona, he brings Matt Cardona to the ring only to kick him in the balls.
Yeah, and destroy him basically. Because apparently Cardona and Orton are friends, or so in real life. So that's why he's like, dude, what are you doing? You can't, you're supposed to, you beat up Cody Rhodes. And then Randy also said Matt Cardona was this like jobber. It was something, that I don't remember the exact verbiage, but he called him that. And Matt Cardona got upset, and he like, I'm not sure if he asked for an apology or Randy like apologized to him and then kicked him in the balls after that. Yeah. And then beat him up. It's like a John Cena thing. It's like they're kind of repeating what they did with Cena. Cena used to kick guys in the balls all the time when he was a heel. So
right.
Like they're repeating that thing again. It's like, doesn't Triple H have anything? Like they could have, honestly, I probably would have done the babyface match. And then have Randy kind of turn on Cody at Mania. So something like that. That'd been more a shocking moment instead of doing it on SmackDown. I don't know. Or not even do it at all. Have Randy beat Cody fairly and kind of have Cody, like kind of begin, not really a heel turn, more like a kind of give his character an edge. Like, something like that, because he's just a pure white meat babyface right now. And the fans are still with him, but eventually they don't get bored of that white meat babyface. So he's going to need to show more like an edge, like he can do whatever it takes to win again, to win the title again, and not just try to, be fair and square, give him an edge. I don't think they're gonna do a full blown heel turn with Cody because he's just too over with the kids and with family. So it's like with Cena, they never turned Cena heel for that reason.
Right. Well, and then here's something I just saw where Aleister Black kicks the fuck out of Sami Zayn. Respectfully, don't ever compare this N-word to Cross again. Ooh, boy. He just totally kicked him in the head.
Talking about Sammy, I don't know what they're going to do with him because he's kind of like backstage and kind of arguing with Cody Rhodes every week and how he should get a title shot. And what I see they're setting up, because next year's WrestleMania is supposed to be in Saudi Arabia. And again, I say supposed to be because right now, if you guys are not following, I assume you guys are following this, you heard about it. It's a massive war in the Middle East that Trump and Netanyahu started. And Iran is bombing Saudi Arabia. So right now, WrestleMania may not be safe over there. So they'll have to decide soon whether WrestleMania can happen over there. Because if it can't, they're going to have to find a new location and quickly. Because they only have a calendar year to do it. So what I'm thinking, if they end up having WrestleMania in Saudi, is that Sami Zayn is going to win the world title at WrestleMania next year. Because he's Arabic and, he's been to Saudi Arabia and the fans are behind him over there. So it seems like they're teasing that he might win the world title in Saudi Arabia next year, which I'm like, really going to put the belts on that guy? Have you seen him? I mean, he looks like a regular Joe, some dude that walked in off the street and he thinks he's a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to really put the world title on him, even for a week or a month or whatever.
I know, but I mean... he is Arabic, so
yeah. So that's why I'm thinking they're gonna put the belt on him next year, even if it's for a transitional reign for like a month or for somebody else gets it. But yeah, I don't like really. Transitional reigns were from like the old days, back in the territory days, even back in the Attitude Era when Triple H sold the story how Steve Austin refused to drop the belt to him and instead dropped it to Mick Foley. And Mick Foley dropped it to him the next day on Raw or SmackDown or something. And Triple H seemed bitter that Austin didn't want to drop the belt to him. I'm like, look, Hunter, you weren't a big star then, and Austin was the number one guy. Why would he put you over clean? Like, that's not going to happen. So Austin went to Vince, and he's like, yeah, I'm not putting over Triple H. Like, okay, how about you put over Mick Foley? He's like, yeah, Mick Foley can beat me all day long, but not Triple H. So it was kind of like bitterness from Hunter that Austin refused to put him over.
It was, yeah. I don't know. Maybe just for a day,
Maybe. I mean, maybe. What difference does it make at this point? Like WWE, when Triple H first took over, there was a lot more credibility to the show, and you had the long title runs, and it felt more like a sport. Now it feels like Vince McMahon's WWE. Like there's really no difference with Danhausen hanging around cursing people, and R-Truth now is a champion again. He won a tag team title again, and it just feels like a Vince McMahon run production.
It really does. A lot of people say Hunter is doing this. Hunter's too busy, at the White House with pedophiles. So I don't think this has to be someone else running the show here.
So technically Hunter's the main booker. He's supposed to be, but I'm pretty sure who's doing this is Bruce Pritchard. Yeah. Because he's still there. And him and he was up Vince's ass so much that whatever Vince did, he would defend no matter what.
Right.
So it has to be. If Triple H is not actually involved in this because he's too busy, basically being in the Trump administration, basically, it could be Bruce Pritchard who's doing this.
Helping out our kids with their fitness. I went, yeah, right. You don't care about our kids. Trust me, they don't give a crap about our kids being fit.
Yeah, so you had Linda McMahon is in the administration. Stephanie's kind of hanging around the White House now, and so is Hunter. So except the only one not hanging around really is Shane or Vince. Well, Vince because for obvious reasons, and Shane, I'm not sure what Shane is politically.
Well, Vince is being sued again. Did you hear about that?
Oh no, I didn't hear about.
Yeah, apparently about the whole TKO takeover thing. People are not happy, so they're he's been added to the lawsuit to it. I only got some details. I'm not really sure, but James Romero was talking about it. We're talking about it on the show today, so I only got to see a little bit of it because I had to get to Kurt's match with Larry Sabisco because I totally forgot about that one too. So I only heard about it briefly, but yeah, it's about the whole TKO, where the shareholders, I guess they felt left out, so now they're suing. I said, basically, in a nutshell, this is rich people being pissed off that they got screwed over, and so they are suing. I said, if poor people could do this, we would.
Oh, okay,
because when a rich person, when they screw over a poor person, that's a Tuesday. When a rich person gets screwed over, they take their revenge.
Yeah, I found an article about it. Okay. The plaintiffs in the lawsuit filed against WWE over their TKO merger have accused Vince McMahon, Triple H, Nick Khan of more of destroying evidence.
Yep.
As reported, the lawsuit was filed in November 2023 over the company's merger into TKO, with plaintiffs alleging that WWE investigation into Vince McMahon was a sham and that McMahon manipulated the sales process to Endeavor for his benefit. That's definitely true. Yep. Because when Vince sold to Endeavor, the deal was that Vince would still run WWE and Endeavor would just kind of pay the bills, basically. But Vince could still run WWE. That was the initial plan. Until the Janelle Grant thing came out and they basically forced him out. But then that McMahon manipulated the sale process for his benefit. Brandon Thurston reports for Post Wrestling that the shareholder plaintiffs are seeking sanctions against the defendants, including McMahon, Khan, and Triple H, over allegations that they destroyed evidence, including signal message and handwritten notes from McMahon. The motion, which appeared on the docket this week, claims that the three, as well as non-defendants Stephanie McMahon and Brad Bloom, did not preserve their communication, despite the fact WWE's legal team gave them multiple notices to do so. So now we have Stephanie McMahon and Brad Bloom deleting their emails when they're not supposed to. So they were Stephanie was obviously protecting her dad there, but individuals subject to litigation are required to preserve potentially relevant communications once legal action is reasonably anticipated. The plaintiffs are asking for sanctions known as adverse interferences, which would allow the judge at trial to assume that the missing evidence would be unfavorable to the defendants who are responsible for the loss. The motion contains new factual allegations, specifically that Vince and Stephanie McMahon, as well as Nick Khan, met with Endeavor's Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro on December 13, 2022. This would have been a few weeks before McMahon forced his way back in WWE and pushed to sell out the company. That's interesting. I didn't know that, because when Vince forced his way back into the company, that's when Stephanie resigned as CEO right after that. And it seemed like she was mad at her dad, but it turns out that it was probably planned because Stephanie is part of that meeting with Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro. So, of course, they were working everybody. Seems that this is true. They were working everybody. Khan described himself as having spearheaded communications between parties on Signal, an app that allows users to auto-delete messages. This motion also claims that Khan deleted normal text messages, which they say, based on contextual clues, included merger discussions and the investigation into McMahon and his alleged sexual misconduct. The case is expected to go to trial in June. So I didn't know about this until you brought it up, but yeah. There's some WWE investors that weren't happy with Vince, and they're alleging that Vince and Stephanie and Triple H and Brad Bloom and Nick Khan, they destroyed evidence, deleted stuff, protected Vince in order to do the sale. Did you hear about this? That allegedly Tony Khan tried to buy WWE back when it was up for sale?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, allegedly Tony Khan bid almost $7 billion to buy WWE in 2023. So I'm like, really? Did Tony really think that Vince would sell to him? His main competition? It's not going to happen.
I mean, nobody knew what Vince was going to do. Forever, we thought that maybe the Saudis would buy it, but I think he did that for
too.
Yeah, the thing with I'm trying to think. Well, the deal, the reason why he was with the TKO or Endeavor, I should say, Endeavor is who I was trying to think of. So the deal that they did with Endeavor was, so that the Saudis couldn't have it or something like that.
So I'm like, I believe Tony Khan put in a bid to buy WWE because, that's why he started AEW, because he wanted to be Vince McMahon. Like he thinks in his head that he's Vince McMahon, and he's not. Nobody takes him seriously backstage. He's just the boss. He's basically he's like the boss's son, because ultimately who's in charge is Shad Khan, and he lets Tony run it. But he's not really the boss. Is his dad. Everybody respects Shad Khan, but Tony kind of like look at that, the boss's son. Let's see.
Well, I mean, all's well that ends well. I don't know if anything's going to come of it. It could. I don't know. I just said on my show that it seemed like rich people that were literally, whenever a rich person gets screwed over, it's sue. But when they fuck over a poor person, that's just a Tuesday.
It seems like it comes across as millionaire investors of WWE are not happy with the billionaire owner who sold. They thought they should have gotten more money, which is why they're suing now on the sale. Because Vince got nearly $1 billion out of the money.
Yeah.
So, and Triple H got $2.5 million. Nick Khan got something. Stephanie did too. So the McMahons all benefited from the sale, but the boys get screwed because they get paid less under TKO now. The fans get screwed because TKO is charging a ridiculous amount of money to go to their shows. They get less shows per year, so fans can't see these wrestlers the way they used to. And, so the fans get screwed, the boys get screwed. Apparently the investors in WWE got screwed too in the sale, so everybody's getting screwed except for the McMahons.
Right.
So Vince also had the accident, which he nearly killed himself in and destroyed his car. We talked about this before, but
yes,
the funny part about that is, of course, when Vince went to court, they gave him a sweetheart deal where he basically had to pay $1,000 and a fine. Actually, it wasn't even a fine; a donation to charity. And if Vince doesn't commit another crime in the next year or so, the case gets dismissed and expunged from his record. So he got the biggest sweetheart deal of all time. Nearly killed people. He could have
killed that woman, and the cops were just so nice. Are you hurt, Vince? Should I get do I have to suck your dick, Vince? Oh, I get an ambulance. It's like, fine. Come on,
do you need an ambulance, Mr. McMahon? No, I'm fine. I was going to my granddaughter's birthday party.
Yeah,
it's like, really? You're driving 100 miles an hour to go to your granddaughter's birthday party? I get it.
I had one more. What did they say on Jim Cornette? I had one more exit. One exit. I could have made it. One last exit. That's crazy.
The mystery caller Randy was talking to on the phone. We just speculated about that earlier. That it could
probably a lot of people have been speculating that it's Ted DiBiase Jr. because he just got the not guilty plea.
And Randy and Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes were in Legacy.
It's probably not Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker. Because again, he's second generation. Yeah. Unless Joe Hennig is coming back, which would be fucking awesome because he's third generation. But when you think of the candidates, it's probably Braun Breaker because I heard or saw on X that Braun Breaker was cleared for WrestleMania. Now that could be bonk for all I know, but I'm only reporting what I saw.
Yeah, so we speculated about that earlier. It could be Shane McMahon. I've read Shane McMahon could be a name that could come back. Even though last time he appeared, he jumped in the air at WrestleMania and tore his quad. So
oopsie.
Like
I
father,
thought he was
like
fired.
son.
Wasn't that? Didn't he get fired after that? His own father fired him.
Yeah, that was his last appearance in WWE. He was supposed to do something with The Miz, beat him up, but he jumped in the air and tore his quad. So instead, they had Snoop Dogg punch Miz in the face and beat him up. It's like, come on, really, Snoop Dogg? How skinny he is, beating up the Miz? It's like I understand it was like desperate times. It's like the segment was fucked and Shane got hurt. So as
I'm trying to
Vince
think,
was like,
unless
okay.
they bring back like who else is second generation? Well, The Rock is third generation.
Yeah, I've heard The Rock. There's somebody dropping The Rock's name because he had his issues with Cody in WrestleMania 40. So they may want to bring him back in order to
another
screw Cody out of
prominent
the title.
family. So I mean, it has to be someone who's second generation or third generation.
Yeah.
For all I know, it could be Jacob Fatu. But then, don't they have him wrestling somebody else?
No, they have him wrestling Drew McIntyre in Mania.
Okay.
Because I forgot about this until now. Him and Drew McIntyre were fighting on top of this like scaffold or balcony or something, and they both fell off and allegedly landed in the concrete, even though they never filmed it. So it's obvious they had a mat there or something, and they never filmed it. So. Which is actually because if you remember, I think AEW literally blatantly had a mat there where the guys landed for like 20 feet in the air. It's like, really, you don't know how to film that properly, where you can build up the illusion they landed on concrete.
No, I mean, how they could do it in Buried Alive matches. Remember, they would never shoot in. When the Undertaker was in there, they shoot for like a second, and then they come out, and they would, because Mark needed time to get out of that. So
they built kind of a contraption where once the camera got away, before he would buried alive, he would get into that contraption, and they had like juice, they had like drinks for him and food because he had to stay there until the fans left. So
because they had to create the illusion that he was actually buried alive. But Stone Cold would put some dirt on him or whatever. They would shoot in for like 2 or 3 seconds and then come back out, and then he wasn't buried alive because he was the only. He would always lose those matches because the Undertaker is the only person who could pull that off, where they buried alive.
He's the only one you would believe that would come back from that, because anybody
come
else
back from the dead.
So that's why whenever he's booked in those matches, he always lost them.
He always lost them, right? He lost one to Stone Cold. I think he lost one to Mankind.
Oh, they had that Boiler Room match, which was one of those brutal matches I've ever seen, where Mick, I think it was Mick, he got dropped on his head, or he hit his head on one of the boiler things, and it was brutal. It was like,
I mean, Mick, he was just a tough son of a bitch anyway. And he would always do these hardcore matches. He was just like a Terry Funk. I mean, he idolized Terry Funk.
Yeah,
so, he was in these crazy matches, barbed wire, and with the one in Japan where every time they would throw him up against the ropes, it was barbed wire, but it would explode.
This is where AEW got, and the boys from AEW got that idea to do the exploding ring matches that they did, because they were ripping off Mick Foley. But Mick Foley was actually over, and he connected with the crowd. That's why he's able to do that stuff and get away with it. You morons not over, so you're doing it look stupid. So Mick would.
I agree. I think they are. I'm sorry, Angel. Hang on one second. I agree. I think they are blowing a chance for Royce Keys. He has that look. Powerhouse Hobbs. He looked the part, and Tony Khan did absolutely nothing with him. I would like to see Obafemi and Royce Keys go. I don't like that name. They should have stuck with Howard Palace Hobbs. Yeah.
The name is shit. They gave him a shitty name. Triple H is wasting Royce Keys' potential. Need to put him on the NXT roster.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in NXT right now.
Where is he?
He appeared.
Anyone seen him lately?
No, he appeared at the Rumble, and then he's been gone. I don't know what they're doing with him.
I don't know.
So I'm not sure he got hurt. He got hurt at the Rumble, and he's kind of been out, or he's just not using him. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. That's a good point there. So we're probably should be wrapping up. It's almost 10 o'clock. We're usually on for a couple hours from 8 to 10 on Saturdays.
As of January 2026, he signed with WWE, where he performs under the ring name Royce Keys. He's best known, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't tell me where he is.
Yeah, he's just been off TV.
I mean,
Honestly,
it doesn't look like he's hurt. You know, I don't see anything.
No,
hurt.
I don't think. I'm speculating he's hurt because they're not even using him in NXT. I thought he would go down to NXT and kind of work with those guys down there.
Anderson. Who is Brock Anderson? What? I'm sorry, did I miss something?
Brock Anderson is Arn Anderson's son.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? Brock, Scott Steiner's son. Brock.
Oh, his name is Brock too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's Brock Anderson. It's that Brock Anderson is Arn Anderson's son. I'm pretty sure.
Well, Arn Anderson, I'm sorry, and maybe Anthro guy. I wasn't really much for Arn Anderson in the first place. I really didn't like Arn Anderson. I couldn't get into him, especially when he was in the Horseman, which I hated anyway. And I was glad that Kurt took his spot because then he ended up shutting the cage door on Flair's head. I was like, yes! I hated Ric Flair. I hate Ric Flair to this day. But hi, Vicky. I honestly, it could be Brock Anderson. But I was thinking more like Brock Steiner. Is that his name? Brock Steiner? I would believe more it was Brock Steiner than it would be Brock Anderson.
But he just got hired. He's in training now. I don't think they would use him on Raw immediately. So
I don't know.
He's in training
honestly, I think it's either Brock. Why do I keep saying Brock? Braun Breaker, or it's somebody like second generation, third generation. It could be in the Samoan group. No. You know, everybody in Samoa is like, you know, second, third generation.
The Rock makes the most sense because he already has history with Cody, you know, from WrestleMania.
Right, and he's 40. Third generation. So
the question is whether he's going to make multiple appearances leading to Mania, unless he did last year, where he turned Cena heel and disappeared. You never saw him.
Is that how he got his name? So it's not really Triple H's. Triple H didn't give him that name, I guess. I guess they asked him.
Oh.
Royce is his son's name, and Keys is his late mother's maiden name. No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, yeah, if he chose a name, that's fine.
Sorry.
If he chose a name, that's fine. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's still kind of...
It's still like, it's still not cool.
Like Powerhouse Hobbs tell everything. Cool. Yeah, I mean, he was cool Powerhouse, and he is. But let's put him on, you know, NXT, just like we did with, Statlander? No. Who is the woman who came up? Maria May?
Yeah, Mariah
May. Yeah, it was Mariah May from AEW.
Yeah,
they put her on NXT, and she's still on NXT. They need time to cook, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like AEW because they literally are just doing stupid stunts, and anybody can do that stuff. If you want to ruin your body, go for it. That's my thing on AEW. But if you really want to learn how to wrestle, and I'd like to say that modern wrestling in WWE is the way it's at, it's not. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to learn how to truly wrestle like the old timers, you had to find someone like a Kurt Hennig or Arn Anderson, or, you know, you had to find these guys that would actually sit there and teach you how to wrestle. And that's the thing. Mm-hmm. It's hard to do that now because modern wrestling has taken over. But in this point, I think what Royce Keys needs is he needs to be on NXT. He needs to go through the ranks like, you know, all the other guys did. Braun Breaker was in it. I mean, you still have Brian Pillman Jr. I would like to see him get up to the main roster because his dad was like super good.
He's in a stable right now. It seems like, you know, they're still trying with him, but you know, he's in a stable right now. He's probably going to stay in NXT a lot longer. So
Nick Rogers,
yeah, definitely.
So it's an old timer. Like, I wish that Kurt was still around because I think if Kurt Hennig had a wrestling school, you would see great performers. You would see good wrestling, good crisp wrestling, and none of these guys would be getting hurt like all this stupid jumping around and whatever they do today. I just think that if you had those old timers actually showing how to wrestle, wrestling would be safe.
There's an epidemic of injuries in pro wrestling today in both companies, not just in AEW, but WWE. They've changed their plans 4 or 5 times because of injury. So eventually ended up being Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, but that was not the initial plan for either main event. So there's so many injuries that they had to switch around the main card 4 or 5 times. And I don't mind where it ended up because Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes should happen as soon as possible because Randy's career is not going to be around much longer.
Yeah, I mean, he is up there. He's older than both of us.
Yeah.
So, and I like Randy Orton. He is also third generation. It was Bob Orton Sr., Bob Orton Jr., who was Randy's father, Orton. And then Randy Orton, of course.
Randy, I mean, Vince immediately pushed Randy Orton when he came up. I mean, he was tag team champions with Bob Holly and eventually with Cody Rhodes. So I'm confused. And then he got the world title from Chris Benoit when he was like 23 or 24. So they got the world title rather quickly. He dropped it back to Triple H, of course, because fucking Triple H had to be the champion at the time for like 3 years.
That's a good question, Anthro guy. I do believe Brett talks about this, that not in his book, but he does. He did an interview for somebody. I think it was TitleMatch.com or one of those sites where he actually talked about that. He actually told AEW, "Hey, I will train your guys for you. I will do that for your guys so they know how to wrestle. Because this crap you're doing now it's just shite." And AEW turned him down. They said, "No, thanks, Brett. Go fuck yourself."
We got this,
but nicely.
Yeah, really? You're gonna reject Bret Hart? I mean, Tony Khan
Bret the Hitman Hart.
He's hired every legend. I mean, Jake Roberts still has a job in AEW.
Jake Roberts is still under contract with AEW, and he's second generation. Yep.
Yeah, I don't blame Jake. I mean, Tony Khan's a mark, so it's like, yeah, take his money. I mean, you got a job.
I mean, isn't Ric Flair still under contract with AEW?
I think he. As far as I know, I think he is. He doesn't.
Arn Anderson is not, but that's because Arn got out of it.
Yeah, Arn left.
But yeah, that's what happened. Brett says that in an interview that I don't remember what interview was. I just kind of saw it in passing that he offered Tony Khan. He said, "Yeah, I'll train your guys." And Tony Khan basically told him to go fuck himself nicely.
Yeah,
and that was Brett's words, not mine.
I couldn't believe it. It's like, really? If Bret Hart's willing to start a wrestling school to train your guys and to run it for you, and you say no, it's like you're hopeless.
Kurt would have done the same thing because Kurt loved the business too. Brett and Kurt both loved the business. And, I was so happy in 93 to see Brett and Kurt on the same side. So this was during Kurt's babyface run. And of course, Brett was a huge babyface at the time. But when they actually put them together in tag teams, it was Kurt and Brett versus Luger and or the Narcissist, I should say, the Narcissist and Razor Ramon. Yeah. So, I actually seen live events. People actually took cameras into the arenas and actually filmed the match. Now, sometimes it's hard to see, but I mean, it's better than, you just hear about these house matches. Someone actually snuck a camera in and actually did, film
the legendary house match. If it wasn't for that camera, we never would have seen the curtain call because it was in a house show.
Right.
It was
a house show.
Somebody stuck a camera in and they saw that, the curtain call was actually filmed, which I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be because I think it was Kevin Nash said there's a house show, so we just did it because no cameras. Turns out there was a camera there, and nobody really knew after they realized, holy shit, a fan snuck in the camera. Now that, of course, Vince was pissed, and now after that he's even more pissed. It's like, you guys. Yeah,
but I would have. This is just me, but I would have stripped Shawn Michaels. Sorry, Shawn. Yeah. No more belt.
Oh yeah,
but he didn't want to do that because it's his boy toy or whatever.
Yeah, he should have.
As Kurt said in one promo, your boy George.
Yeah, he should have stripped Shawn Michaels because that would have shown the boys like, yeah, we can't fuck around with Vince because he's gonna strip you of the world title.
Right.
No, but at the time it was like, oh no, Shawn was untouchable for some reason. So
yeah, for some reason Shawn was untouchable, so they took it out on Hunter.
Hunter, yeah, but it was probably for the best because Austin won the King of the Ring and cut that famous Austin 316 promo.
Well,
which made him.
And there's a lot of questions of would that still have happened if Triple H had not been a part of that curtain call, if he had taken it out on Shawn and Triple H. Like, okay, Triple H, you could still win the King of the Ring, but Shawn, I'm going to literally strip you of the ring, right? What I think is, I think Austin still would have been a big star. Because, I mean, he had the charisma, he had it, right? You know, he was going to be that Stone Cold character because he didn't stay very long as the ringmaster. So, I love showing those clips because Kurt, I should say Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was commentating and he's like, I like this guy. You know, he has that old school mentality wrestling that Kurt grew up with. And that's what Kurt was talking about. Austin knew how to wrestle. Okay. He knew how to wrestle. He was the old school mentality of wrestling. And that's why Mr. Perfect wanted to kind of, and you could see it at the broadcasting table when Austin was the Stone Cold Steve Austin part.
Yeah.
Because when Austin came in as the ringmaster, he talked like this. And you could just barely hear him.
Yeah, Jake, because they stuck him.
Very stupid.
When Vince hired him, they stuck him with Ted DiBiase. I'm like,
right. And Ted DiBiase would be like, I found a guy who's going to be like me in the ring and blah, blah, blah. But the way Austin talked, it was just like, it was stern, but yet so.
Yeah. It's like Vince didn't see his promos in ECW because when he cut promos, he had all this charisma and, you know, he's making fun of Hogan and stuff. And
I saw those.
I get, you know, Vince didn't see that. So he kind of stuck him like, well, he's like a good worker. He's a good hand, but he has no charisma. Let me just give him the ring, give him Ted DiBiase and make him the ringmaster. That was basically his attitude.
And if anybody knows anything about, like, you know, like Kurt Hennig or has heard Kurt in any interview he's ever done, where they did ask him about that whole thing with Steve Austin and him at the commentating table. And he said, you know, there was a there, but he had already talked to Eric Bischoff. So he was already planning to leave.
He was already going to leave.
For WCW, right. But then, of course, I'm sure that Kurt had like a non-compete clause. And that's why Kurt would end up going at the end of July in 97 to WCW. But this was like December 96. Where he was at the commentating table with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and there was chemistry there. I mean, if Kurt had not made that deal with WCW, we could have had a Stone Cold versus Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, because Kurt was kind of back to the ring anyways. So if he would have stayed in WWF, they definitely would have had that feud probably. They were teasing it at that point.
They were definitely teasing it. And Kurt knew there was something there. That's why they had that charisma at the commentating table. But my favorite line from that was always, don't say you can kick my ass unless you kicked it, Austin.
Yeah. Jake left WWF in 92 because he wanted to help recreate it, but Vince turned him down. I remember reading before. Yeah, that's probably true, but Jake came back in 96 and he was part of creative with Vince.
Right.
But he never showed up. He was high on drugs and
he showed up. Jake had a lot of problems. That's the problem of Jake the Snake Roberts is he had a lot of drug problems, especially in the early 90s.
Yeah. So that's why Vince turned him down, but he brought him back in 96 and he had the match with Steve Austin, the King of the Ring final. And he was part of creative. And that's where
the Austin, you know, on March 16th, they always had that 316 day. Right. And they always show that when, you know, because Jake was talking about, you know, the Bible and Psalms and 316. And then that's when Austin said, Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass.
Yeah, because I think Austin went to the hospital after his first match because he busted his lip. So when he came back, I think he asked Brooklyn Brawler or somebody, or Harvey Whippleman, what did Jake say? And he just basically told him he talked about the Bible and, you know, he talked about how he's a religious Christian now. Okay, I got it. And that's when he kind of came up with Austin 316 in his head.
And boy, did it sell. It sold. I remember I had an Austin 316 shirt and I would take it to school and everyone who never watched wrestling in their lives would always ask, Austin 316, is that the same as John 316? I went, no.
Yeah, John 316 was.
John 316, Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass.
And Austin he just made that up while he was
off
coming
the top
to the
of
ring.
his head. And
Yeah,
now
for
they
his
have
final
lines
thing.
that you have to do. I'm like, I would be lost. If I can't come up with a promo off the top of my head, like our guys used to do, the guys of our generation.
These guys can't do it.
Yeah, these guys can't do it. They can't even remember their lines.
Yeah.
Triple H is
literally,
like, I don't know what to say. And then CM Punk feeds him his line. You can see
Yeah.
CM Punk's mouth move. And you're like, wow.
He's feeding him his lines. And this has happened plenty of times where the other guy forgets their lines and the other wrestler is kind of like feeding him their lines. Is like, it's just.
Rusev did that before he left the first time.
Yeah.
You can see, what was it? John Cena was feeding him like.
He's feeding him his lines because he forgot.
It will die. Or something like that.
It will die.
And then,
it
will die. We
like he
watched
saved
that.
Rusev from
there were like
humiliation.
bloopers or people forgetting their lines or something.
Yeah.
The famous one that I like is I've seen Brett in oh God, was it Hitman Wrestling with Shadows? Where they did like the behind the scenes of him doing his lines and he just fubs them up and he's like, oh, can I do that again? Like, whoops, Brett forgot what he was going to say. But Kurt did it too. Kurt could not say the Lex. Now I'm going to say it. The narcissist. Luger. He could not say it. He could not say. He kept saying the narcissist Lex Luger. I'm going to go do it right now. You know,
I'm going to go to the. Is it? Whoops. Anthro guy says, I heard Kurt wanted Booker T to be a successor. I think that he saw a lot of potential in him. I don't know about that. I never heard that.
I never heard of him mention Booker T. He mentioned Brock Lesnar because they worked out a couple of times, even though people think, oh, well, he trained Brock Lesnar.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not train Brock Lesnar. He hung out with him a couple of times. He worked out with him a couple of times. He was the next
Brock Lesnar he was trained by Jim Cornette in OVW. So
right. So I don't know where they got that per se. Brock does have a quote for him in his book that Kurt told him. And I think it was because, and I mentioned this plenty of times before, if you want to go back in our archives and check this out. Kurt had, there's a quote in Brock Lesnar's book that Kurt told him, well, don't become a lifer. And it's because I'm guessing that Brock was complaining about the road schedule. Mm-hmm. And Kurt said, well, then get your money and get out because you don't want to be a lifer.
Yeah.
You know, and Brock took that advice somewhat. And then, I mean, he keeps coming back and forth between wrestling and something else.
He did take that advice and leave. He left while he was on top, pretty much. So,
but then he also came back too.
He came back like after the UFC, you know. So,
right. I've heard Kurt talk about Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Not really so much Booker T.
He might have,
but I know Booker T, he had a lot of respect for Booker T. They did have a match in WCW that not a lot of people paid attention to, and this is the bad part of WCW, I think. They didn't pay attention to the Booker T Kurt Hennig match because they were all, Sting and Hogan.
Yeah, they were building Sting and Hogan. It's like
at Starrcade, and then they fucked it up anyway.
They butchered that finish.
Right.
Oh no, actually, to be fair, Hulk butchered that finish. I mean, it wasn't WCW.
Hogan like that don't work for me, brother.
Not tonight. And Hogan was like, not tonight. And Bischoff like, what? Like, what the fuck are we gonna do then? Like,
well, and something that Bischoff said on his podcast was Hulk looked at Sting. Sting was at the time, Steve Borden is his real name. Mm-hmm. Was having personal issues. I don't know if it was his first wife, second wife. I don't know. I don't even know if he was married but he was having personal problems with his marriage, and it looked like he had never been to a gym. So Hogan leaned over to Bischoff and said, I don't think this guy's ready.
Yeah. He's like,
according to Bischoff, brother. I don't know. I
believe because Hulk was looking for an excuse to keep the belt anyway. So it's like, not tonight, brother.
So if Kurt mentioned Booker T, I don't remember that. Please give me that interview that I would love to watch it. I've seen several Kurt interviews. I've read a couple of them too. So I'm not really sure where that all ties in there. So
that's interesting. Yeah, but Hulk, this is Hulk's favorite thing to say.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
I think I heard it in a WCW doc. I could very well be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to check that out. But I do know I watched and I don't know if it's the same thing that I downloaded, but it was about the NWO. And what's cool is they have, not only do they have Cody Rhodes, but they also have Joe Hennig. And they interviewed him and they interviewed Cody. And I just love how Cody has his dad's accent. And I'm like, oh, it's Dusty. But it's not Dusty, right? So, but anyway, he would talk about when Dusty was in the NWO. Of course, Joe would mention that Kurt would come home and they would watch, him going into the NWO and him in the NWO all the time. So that was kind of cool. I like that a lot. And I did download some kind of NWO special from the WWE Vault. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I download stuff from YouTube. So in case they ever get rid of it, I'm just like, no, I'm keeping it. Right. But I have not heard of that, but I would love to see that doc where he talks about Booker T. I know he had a lot of heat with Scott Steiner because Scott Steiner was like a mark for himself and he was hurting guys. And Kurt didn't like it very well.
Scott, especially when he came Big Papa Pump and he became blonde haired and and they grew like 20 pounds of muscle, and it was he got a big head, became world champion right after that, and
got a big head Kurt said he was very unsafe. He said the same thing about Matt and Jeff Hardy, that they were not safe because they would literally just jump off the top rope and do whatever they want.
Jeff was like jumping off. He he was reckless. I mean, the way he would jump off and land on people and stuff. It's Jeff. I remember Jeff doing jobs for Vince in the early 90s. It's like they called him Jeff Harvey or Jeff Hardy, the end of the week sometimes.
Well, they didn't. The thing is, Vince wanted like a name, like Mr. Perfect or the Immortal Hulk Hogan or King Kong Bundy. That's the kind of didn't like. Eric Bischoff is the one who admitted that he liked wrestlers just using their real names. Yeah. He didn't like the whole gimmick thing. Sting had his gimmick and they kept that Sting because it fit Steve Borden. Yeah. Otherwise they would have called him Steve Borden. Do you think that Sting would be or Steve Borden would be as good as Sting was? Probably not, right? No. So, I mean, a lot of guys who had gimmicks like the Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan.
They kept their names.
Yeah. They kept their names because they didn't let Vince take it. Hogan had his name. He didn't go under Terry Bollea when he was in, well, he did briefly when he was in AWA, but they gave him Hulk Hogan. Yeah, they gave him that name.
I didn't know Kurt worked with the Hardys. Was this in 2002? Probably.
He may. I think he was a Jeff Hardy. I think he was against Jeff, or no, not Jeff. Matt Hardy. I think he was against Matt Hardy. And I saw this. So take this with a grain of salt because if anything comes up with Kurt, I'm watching it, right? So it was like this AI video, which again we all see AI videos and they're crap because they have kernels of truth in them that turn out to be big things. First of all, if you have ever heard Kurt Hennig talk or seen him in interviews, he did not hate a single person. Like Hogan, for example, Hogan axed his push in 89 and then axed the West Texas Rednecks in 1999. And literally Kurt had nothing but good things to say about Hogan. Okay. So I don't think that Kurt Hennig hated a single person in wrestling. He just understood that this is how politics works in the wrestling business. Yeah, so you kind of follow along and do what you have to do. Because he talks about his matches with Hogan. He talks about his matches with Brett, and they Brett and him talk about each other very fondly. His matches with Kerry Von Erich. For example, I mean, he says it's such a tragedy that what happened to Kerry, but he had a great body. He knew how to wrestle. He was second generation.
like it was sad with Kerry because I know he's probably going to prison, but he was still young enough where he could come out and continue his career.
When I saw the thing about the, people, it was the question posed on X or whatever, and it was Sean Mooney who said, well, I'm sure Vince had to have done his homework on Kerry Von Erich and knew that he only had one foot. I'm like, nobody knows what Vince did or did not know unless you ask Vince McMahon, and you'd have to get Vince to talk about it. So if you want to know what Vince did or did not know, ask Vince McMahon, right? It's not like Vince McMahon would have to use a Ouija board to talk to him.
I didn't know until very recently that Kerry only had one foot.
Yeah, I knew that back in 2018. So I didn't know until 2018 that Kerry had a prosthetic foot.
I wouldn't have guessed. I mean, he was great in the ring. It's like I wouldn't have guessed he had one foot and he had a prosthetic, wrestling.
And there's a lot of people who have done interviews about Kerry Von Erich who has said where he would mention if you knew that he had a prosthetic foot, he would tell you it's not just the leg. It goes all the way up into the back, the pain that he was in all the time. So I could see why he kind of like would need painkillers because again, even with the prosthetic foot, I mean, there's ways of like he would shower with his boots on or whatever. But to get back to this AI thing that I saw, again, I don't think Curt Hennig hated anybody. He may have had, some heat back in with the boys, but it's because if you were doing something reckless, he didn't like that. And I don't think any of the boys would like that. So, he may have had heat with Scott Steiner, may have said a few things to Scott Steiner, said a couple of things to Jeff Hardy. I think he was against Matt Hardy, though, in 2002. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure it was Matt Hardy that he faced in 2002. I don't know if words got heated back then, but that's what the AI said. But again, the AI was wrong on a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple other people I'm like, how could he dislike that person when, he never faced that person, for example. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, I don't remember him ever having a match with that person. So how could he even have? And they said instead of 90, he had a match with Bret Hart. They were saying in 93. I'm like, no, that was 91, or it was something about 1990. And I'm like, no, that was 91 when he faced Bret at SummerSlam. So AI doesn't get it right. So I honestly, again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't think Curt Hennig hated anyone. I think he just kind of had a problem with the fact that a lot of these guys were doing, in 2002, a lot of these guys were being reckless with their bodies. They were doing, stupid stunts. And to an older generation guy like that, I mean, that I'm sure it scared the shit out of Curt because if these guys fuck up, guess what? Kurt's going to get hurt.
What?
Oh, it's 10:30. It's 10:30. I've only learned of the Von Erichs and a lot of wrestling history, especially the territory days, only recently. Yeah. And that's the same thing with me too. I have learned a lot about Curt when he was in the Portland area. When he started his career, he was actually in the WWF. And I learned that because of WWE Network. Back when WWE Network was in America and you could actually have a subscription to it for like $10, right? I actually saw matches with Curt in the WWF, and again, they if you go on the Vault, they have a interview with Jesse Ventura where he watches all these matches, and he looks at the guy and he's like, I don't remember working with Curt in the WWF. So they actually showed him the match again because I actually talked to Jesse Ventura about this. I was like, did you know that you faced him back in the WWF? He's like, no, I only remember when Curt was a rookie in 79, and it was him and his dad against Jesse and Adrian Adonis, and they would beat up on Curt, and then Curt would make the hot tag to his dad, and then his dad would clean up. But he didn't remember this match that he had with Curt, so they actually showed him the match, and they're like, here, watch this match, and he's like, holy shit, I didn't remember that. But I mean, it didn't phase Curt because Curt would go on. He wasn't very happy in the WWF. He didn't win a lot of matches. Let's put it that way. So he actually went to Portland in 1982. So this was before me and Angel were born. Okay. So we didn't come till 86. So I actually learned all this.
I speculate that Vince Sr. saw Kurt like Bob Backlund and wanted to make him champion eventually. But he got sick. He sold to his son, and Kurt was gone shortly thereafter. So.
And he would go to Portland and kind of make a name for himself. I'll just do this real quick. So he kind of made a name for himself in Portland against, like, he had feuds like against Buddy Rose. He was tag team with Billy Jack Haynes. Again, and I found this all out by literally just looking up matches, because they do have Portland matches in 1982. If you look on YouTube, you can find them. They're older matches. The quality of the screen is not so good, but at least you get to watch these matches. So he was tag team with Billy Jack Haynes for a while. He eventually would have Buddy Rose turn face, and it would be the three of them. So it would be Billy Jack Haynes, Buddy Rose, and Kurt Hennig in a lot of 6-man matches with like the Assassin, Rip Oliver, and Dynamite Kid was also in Portland at that time. So they brought the Dynamite Kid in during the time that Kurt was there. And then also they had him and the Sheik, Ali Hassan. And it was so funny because if you look on his butt, it says oil. You can't make this shit up. And that guy was whiter than I am. So he was pretending to be this Iranian prince or whatever. It's hilarious. So if you look for that kind of stuff and the AWA stuff, I'm sorry. That's why you should watch my show, because literally I go back into right now. We're in AWA. Down there, by the way. Yeah, the links are down here. Check out my show, because we actually went back to Portland. We watched his matches with Buddy Rose, with all that stuff. Check out Rumble, because you actually get to watch them. Whereas YouTube has a few more rules where I can't show them. I can only do the audio. But if you want to check out the Rumble, and like I said, we go back into Portland. We just got to AWA. So we're actually doing that. And, check it out. But if you ever want to look this stuff up, anyone in Portland, I mean, the sheep herders, for example, you can look at WCCW, where I actually saw a bunch of matches with Percy Pringle and Rick Rude. When I do tributes to Rick Rude, which I do occasionally, I'm thinking about doing it again here soon. But so Percy Pringle and Rick Rude were in WCCW with Kerry Von Erich. So, and there's a couple of matches between them two as well, which I love to watch all the time. So if you get a chance and you want to look up history, you can go on the Vault, WWF Vault, or WWE Vault, excuse me. Or you can, it was WWF when we were kids. But you can also check that out. But you can also check out some like Buddy Rose versus Brett Sawyer. Any of the Sawyer boys. You can look up the sheep herders. Those are the bushwhackers back when they were in Portland. Mm-hmm. You can look up Buddy Rose. He had a flamboyant history back then, especially because he was called Playboy Buddy Rose in the AW or in the Portland.
Just one more thing before we go. The Von Erichs, I think they may be Christian Zionists from my seeing Kevin and his son's IG's accounts. It's a different story another day. Yeah. I mean, they before we go, there was this allegedly that the Von Erichs worked in Israel. They did tours of Israel all the time. So at the time, that was where the incident where I think it was, who was it? Damn, I forget. It was gentleman Chris Adams. He kicked
yes.
He kicked the guy in the head, a bartender. He lost his eye. So they had to kick him out of the country. Thank you, Anthro Guy. Appreciate your hanging out with us. We're on every Saturday, 8:00 on this channel.
Yeah,
so
but that
channel you're on.
So next week we will not be on, but we will be on the following week, I believe, because I have some prior engagements. But check us out and check out my links. Like I said,
it's down there in the description, all that stuff.
If you have a favorite wrestler, like Angel loves, excuse me, Bret Hart. I love Mr. Perfect. He is my wrestling hero, always has been. But I respect Bret Hart. You know, to have those great matches with Kurt, he did in '89 and throughout '89, and people still talk about those matches. So, if you want to learn some history, look up Bret's book. He has the audio out now, and it's Bret's voice, so it's definitely Bret reading his own book.
Good book.
It's a great book. I've gotten to the part where it's 91, and he said, Kurt, it was Kurt's idea for him to rip off the singlet and hold it up as a trophy. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we do have to go, guys. I mean, I want to thank you for watching. Next week, or not next week, the next time we come back, hopefully we'll get Alex back and do some clips again. We do clips in the second hour. Tonight was different because he wasn't here. So we just talked about wrestling for 2.5 hours. So we usually end around 10 o'clock, but today once we start talking about wrestling, forget about it. So,
we can't shut up.
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications so you can check us out when we're live. And